What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up to all of my friends and family? What's happening? What's going on? Time Dog checking in on Wednesday, June 24th, 2026, year of our Lord. What's up to all of my friends? Yeah. Yeah. It was a good show, good concept, good change of pace, good a lot of things. What's up, Lex? What up, K Cooper, Jesse Xavier, TM Speaks. What up, y'all? LD Walker, Poetic, I see you. Desiree Smith, what's happening? I hope to see a lot of y'all at the Patreon meetup in DC. I literally just booked my plane ticket today, so I will be seeing a lot of y'all there. And I think it's going to be fun, like it always is. I always have a good time in DC. Information about the Patreon meetup is in the Patreon. Link to the Patreon is in the description of the video, pinned to the top of the chat. Drake dominated. Kendrick says the hardest working man on YouTube. I feel like I'm slacking. Matter of fact, bro, I seen somebody, another person, jack my style, jack my whole vibe, jack everything that I'm doing, and they unapologetic about it. I think people don't think that you're going to see what they stole, and so they just go ahead and did it. And a lot of people think that, oh, because you got a smaller platform, that maybe I'm not checking or maybe people not going to send it to me. People send me everything, bro. And I may not see it immediately, but I see it. And people be sending me stuff and they be like, yo, Ty, this dude jacking everything you got. Why is it no originality? When you take stuff from me, right? Or when you take information, or let's say, for example, you inside of the Patreon or whatever, and I give you game from a content creator's perspective, why don't you take the work ethic? Why don't you take the strategy? Why don't you take that type of stuff? Why is it like, and then people expect for me to just be chill about it and say, oh man, imitation is, and it's not just black people. It be Asian people, it be white people, it's all kind of people stealing. And it's like, why don't you make it your own? Why don't you have your own style? Why don't you have your own originality? It's people with decent sized platforms that just pivoted their whole thing and they taking everything that I do. And it's like, you ain't got no originality. You supposed to take the strategy. You supposed to take the work ethic. You supposed to take certain things. You're not supposed to take the look and the feel. You supposed to have your own vibe. Neither here nor there. People be saying, oh man, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. No, it's just imitation. That's it. It's just imitation. That's all it is. Anyways, you like good room 9 last night, Bree? That's what's up. I'm glad that you pulled up. It was a fun show. I thought it was very interesting. It was fun. It was different. And I had a really good time. But we doing it again, but we going to flip it tonight. We going to flip it tonight. Tonight, we going to do Judging the Guys. Judging the Guys tonight, Wednesday, room 9. Room 9. Oh, it's a lot of it. It's more than one, G. It's more than one. Room 9 tonight, after hours, part 2. We gonna flip it. We gonna give the ladies an opportunity to get their thoughts off. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna make it happen. We gonna make it happen. What up, y'all? What's happening? What's the word? What is the word? Thunderbird. Yeah. I'm also amazed. I'm amazed how much time people. I didn't realize it. Like when you start to talk to people and you say, "Hey, so what'd you do today? So what's popping today?" Or let's say you talk to a homie or you run into people in the streets and stuff like that. And people be like, oh, I just went to work and then I played games, or I went to work and I just watched movies. I went to work and I finished a series. And I'm like, man, I don't remember the last time that I watched TV. I don't remember the last time that I watched TV. I don't remember the last time that I don't remember the last time I picked up a controller. Like just sit around and chilled and then got sleep and all of that stuff. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So, I'm locking in, man. I really am locking in. Right now, I only want to focus on the work. And that's what I'm about. I'm about hustling. I'm about the work, and that's all I know, bro. That's all I know. So, um, your car, I hope you ready to work, cause I'm locked in. Weekends, I'm gonna take some time to myself, but the weekday, it's all up. It's all the way up. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Quote of the day is, the streets don't love you back. Unknown. And I'm assuming that the person originally that came up with this probably is dead. And that's one of the reasons why they saying that the streets don't love you back. Streets don't love you back. We're going to go into some different things. And I want to do a tale between multiple different worlds in addition to a lot of other stuff that's going on. But the streets, it don't love you back. And I know that we glorify it, but I'm going to just tell you, dead men tell no tales. And people that lose themselves in the streets, they don't have an opportunity to be able to write history. History is written by winners. And so if you are a person that is impressed by or is glorified by the streets, then you definitely need to rethink your life and rethink what you want your future to be. It's a lot of people said it. It's a lot of people that said it before Pac. That's why it's unknown, because a lot of people took it and maybe they popularized it, but most of the time they didn't come up with it, right? It's a lot of people dead. I think it's a lot of people dead that said that same statement, but they couldn't get out of the streets. So a lot of people cracked out. A lot of people lost their way. And I see people every day that if you go back in their past or you look at their old pictures, or if we had social media back then, you would probably say, dang, homie, in high school, you was a man, homie. It's a lot of people that had motion that don't have no motion no more because of life choices. Life choices. And I was talking to, who was I talking to on the phone yesterday? I was talking to Kimmy. Yesterday because she was kind of giving me she was letting me know when she was going to land and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Because I was planning for the show. And so she was asking me what my thoughts was, and she was giving me some advice. And, a lot of people give me insight on how I should do it and all of that stuff and different ideas. And I was talking to Kimmy yesterday, and we was just like talking about what our future plans was. And I was saying, yo, this is what my plan is. And I was breaking down the numbers, and we was kind of talking. And we was just kind of talking for like a good 7 or 8 minutes after we was talking about the concept of the show. And it just helped me to realize that we are a special people, man. It's a lot of people. You know why people are so angry? You know why people come in here and the first thing at 9 o'clock in the morning, the first thing that they do is they may say something egregious? Most people, us, me and you, when we come in here, we speak. Hey, what's going on? They be speaking to me. They be asking me how my day is. I ask y'all how y'all day is. Y'all, be talking to each other and saying, good morning, what's happening, or whatever. And we've kind of developed, a routine, so to speak. We've developed a routine, so to speak, right? But then there are people, the first thing that they do is they'll say something to try to get your attention, or they'll say something egregious, or the first comment that they put in don't have nothing to do with showing love or saying what up. The first thing that they do is they say something wild. And it's because their life is not what they want it to be. I'm keeping it 100 with you. People that wake up on that other stuff, y'all ever talk to somebody, whether it be your girl or your guy, or even somebody that's a friend or a family member, and what's up, OG? What up, Chris Cunningham? What up, your car? What up, Paige? What up, Jesse Xavier? What up, BM? Y'all ever talk to somebody the first thing in the morning and the first thing that they say in their own is, so why you say that? Why you ain't call me back yesterday? What is you listening to? Y'all ever got that like the first thing and it's an automatic ick. It's an automatic, you are so exhausting. Ugh, man, I don't want to hear this. Or maybe you just take a step back and you realize that the person may have disturbed your peace. The person may have disturbed your peace. The person, it maybe they just too negative for you at that time. And it's like, ugh. In the morning, you gotta let the day kick your butt a little bit before you start getting angry and ugly and hangry and bothered. Like the world ain't even got to you. You supposed to be opportunistic in the morning. Part of the reason why we go to sleep every day and we rest is because when we wake up in the morning, you supposed to have forgiven everything that happened the previous day, even yourself. You might have had a bad day yesterday. I had a mixed day yesterday. Actually, I would say that my day yesterday was about 50-50. It was 50% good, 50% headache. But guess what? I woke up this morning and I felt excited about creating the day. And the first thing that I said to myself is, thank you, Jesus, for giving me another opportunity to do great things. The second thing that I said today is, oh man, I got another opportunity to do great things. The third thing that I said today was, all right, you know what? It's time to lock in. It's time to really get to it. Leslie called me, my daughter, and she was like, Dad, you ain't come home last night. You good? Are you tired? You sleepy? I see you stream for like 4 hours, 4+ hours on both shows yesterday. And I said, yeah, I'm locked in. I'm about to really, really dedicate myself. So then she told me what her plans was and all of this stuff. And then it's positivity. Positivity. And then I get a phone call from somebody else and they say, hey. And I said, what up? And they said, I was like, but the beautiful thing about that, though, the beautiful thing about that is that I have a choice. I got a choice. You know why I got a choice? I got a choice to cut you off. I got a choice of whether I want to accept it or not. I have a choice of whether I want to answer the phone or not. I have a choice on whether or not I want to participate in the conversation. And you know why I got a choice? Because I'm not involved in the things that we would define in the culture as the streets. It's a couple different streets. When some of us say we in the streets, that mean that we might be partying. That may mean that we might be traveling. That mean that we might be, you know what I'm saying, in the mix and having a good time, maybe dancing or something, that we interacting with people. We're interacting with society. That's my definition of the streets. Your definition of the streets, because see, at the end of the day, even when I get off the phone with a person with a headache, I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm thankful to have the opportunity to say no. We gonna get into the show today, and we gonna get into Julio Foolio and the sentencing and the cigar that went viral and the community started going off on him about Oak Bluffs. We gonna talk about that. But my point is that you have a choice because you free. You have a choice because you have your life. You have a choice because you don't have to participate in the same things that other people participate in because the streets don't love you back. I don't know who in the world told us that. Who in the world told us that it was cool and that the streets was going to save you, or you needed to make sure that you stayed in the streets. I don't know who told us that. Paige says, AD, my husband has an attitude because I'm going on a girls trip. He said married folks don't do that. Who are you going on a girls trip with? Who are you going on a girls trip with? That's the first thing. It's like if you're going with family or something, that's different. If you're going with your homegirls, I could see his apprehension. But then at the same time, if I was him, I wouldn't even trip about it because you're going to do whatever you're going to do anyway. If you already got your mind made up that you're going to do the right thing, then you're going to do the right thing. If you already got your mind made up that you're going to do the wrong thing, then you're going to do the wrong thing. And for me, I'm one of those type of people that I just let people be what they're going to be. And that don't mean that I have to accept it, but I'm not trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. So it's a little different for me. I'm more nonchalant. There's two single girlfriends. Yeah, I can see why he's saying that. I can see why he's saying it. I can see why he's saying it. It depends on his personality type. I'm the type of person that just say, oh yeah, I hear you. And then I just start pulling back. If I see a girl, if my girl is doing something that I don't necessarily care for, I just start pulling back. And so the minute, and I don't know what works for y'all, but when I start pulling back, then it's more like why you so quiet, or why you so reserved, or why we don't hang out as much. And it's because I'm focused. I'm focusing on me. I don't have no energy. I don't have no energy to put into something that I don't necessarily care for right now. I just don't. I wouldn't care no more. So you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. That's on you. But the one thing that I do know that you have that other people don't have, Paige, is that you ain't got to worry about the streets not loving you back. I don't have the energy no more, man. I don't have the energy to be sitting there going back and forth with people. I don't. And here's the thing, y'all. When we say that the streets don't love you back, I'm not even just talking about the streets like doing something in the streets that you're not supposed to be doing, like drugs or guns or gangs or killing. That also goes for women. It also goes for men. It's a lot of women that feel like they missing out on a lot of things. And I'm going to just tell you, we putting you in that Uber, tapping the side of the car. We sending you home with a wet butt. Now, I will tell you that there are some women that like that lifestyle, believe it or not. They really do. There are some women that's looking to get sent home. You know how you walk into the car with your flip-flops. It's the morning time. It's time to go to work, but you still got on the same clothes that you had on the night before. Women love that life. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain demographic of women. They looking for that. You know, they think that that's a change of pace, and they like the idea of no attachments, no strings, and all of that stuff. And so you tap the side of that car, tell the Uber driver to get her where she need to be, and say, all right, when I'm going to see you again, and you let her be for the streets. You know what I'm saying? But what I will tell you is that you have to understand that in that situation, Paige, the streets don't love you back. The streets will not love you back. It won't. It won't love you back. It's a lot of girls. I had a girl was asking me for advice, and she said, Anton, it's a lot of guys that's trying to talk to me, and I think that it's so many nice guys out here. And Internet Anton was set to agree with her and say, "Yeah, man, because there's so many nice guys." But real Anton told her the truth. And the truth is the streets don't love you. The streets don't love you. There's so many men out here that will take your head off. You don't know them at all. You don't know them. You don't know nothing about them. You don't know nothing about what they got going on. What you think that dude aged up to the point to where he 40 years old and he just so happened to be single, but you gonna be the one that he then turns his life around for? Is that what you thought? He been in the streets all his life, but now he looking to change his ways because you just so happen to prance into his life? Girl, please. If you don't wake up, if you don't wake up, so you think that he accumulated all of this wealth, all of this money, all of this knowledge because he's looking to pour into you? Yeah, for the moment, I got something to pour into you. For the moment. You thought that you was more special than the 97 girls that was before you that came in his life over the last 2 years, and that he was going to do something for you that your current man was never going to do for you. You got to know what you're getting yourself into before you get into it. I'm keeping it 100. I'm keeping it 100. Y'all want to know the truth? All right, I'll give y'all a little preview of what my TED Talks is going to be on Friday. Men over 40. Come on, man. I'm going to tell you the truth before we get into the show. Do y'all want to know the truth? Ladies, I'm not even going to talk to the guys right now. I'm about to expose us. I'm about to expose the men right now. Y'all want to know the truth? If y'all want to know the truth, give me at least 5 truths inside of the chat within the next minute, and I'll tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. Steel City Muscle says, "Whoa, OG, let's slow down." Listen, I can take my time on my 4-hour shows. No dry snitching. Keisha said, "Be real." Truth. Yes, please do. Anton says, Shantae Jackson. What's up, Shantae? I hope to see you in DC next month. All right, I got a lot of truth. Mimi said truth. All right. I'm going to tell y'all the honest to God truth. This is why the women really want to tune in on Fridays. Friday nights with AD. Men over 40. Not men that just came out of high school. Not guys in college. Not guys in their 20s. Not men in their 30s. Y'all are putting up rookie numbers, okay? Men in their 40s are the biggest red flag of any demographic walking the United States of the Americas today. And if you love red flags, if you love toxic masculinity, boy, do I have some stuff for you. Men in their 40s are worse than women in their 20s. You think you got motion when you in your 20s? You're a rookie. You're a rookie. You know why there's so many people on the internet that say, why the guys ain't doing this no more? Chivalry is dead. It's because you are in a generation with people like myself in my age range that grew up at a time where I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. You are in an age range of a group of people that grew up understanding both sides of life. We are so knowledgeable in not having social media and being able to talk to people and being social in real life to where we are the perfect blend between real life and content creation and social media, because we grew up without it, but we grew up with it. It came into our lives at the time that we were the most impactful and we had the most understanding and we were fully developed in our brains. And so when we grew up, we had to get our stars and our stripes and put our time in with a pencil and a pad, and you had to go up to a girl and having conversations and all of that type of stuff. And then we also grew up at the time when we were in college. That's when social media really started to take off. Now, combine that with the fact that if you are a man in your 40s, and this is the reason why you want to get some money. If you are a man in your 40s and you got your life together and you got motion, the world is your oasis. There is nothing that can stop you. And the reason why we are so matter of fact, don't care, you can go, I'm not walking up to no girl, the vibes got to be right, it's always another one, is because I'm telling you, when you're in your 20s as a guy, now taking into consideration what I said, when you're in your 20s as a guy, you young, you spry, you a jackrabbit, right? Everything is, but you ain't got no money, you ain't got no money, you don't really understand what the game is, just your brain's still fully developing. You're also trying to climb the ladder and get your money right, but you still in between phase because you still got a childish like mentality, so you're trying to have fun, but then you still kind of inspired, and you go through this lull in your life where eventually you grow into your 30s, and the relationships that you've understand or you seen yourself in, you start to look at it a little bit differently, but now you in hustle mode, but you still are growing into being who it is that you're going to be. When you hit your 40s, you almost peak. You're peak because you got your money right. You got an understanding of the world. You know how to put two and two together. You're not overly anything. You started to calm down. You have your comfortability and you got all the motion in the world. All the motion in the world. And guess what is not going to happen? You are less likely to find a man in his 40s that is going to settle down with you than you are in their 20s and their 30s and their 60s and in their 70s. 40 to 50 is guy seen too much, not willing to put up with the BS, and can go and get another you if you acting out tomorrow. Guys in their 40s that, and be very understanding of this part, that have themselves together have no chill, no tolerance for the BS. They not, see, a man in his 40s is different from a man in his 20s and his 30s, is because whatever the situation is, he don't even trip about it. Let's say, for example, you say something or you do something and, you know, hey, man, he made it, took you out to dinner and whatever, so on and so forth. Y'all got into it. A man in his 20s is going to be like, man, listen, man, I shouldn't have paid for that. I shouldn't even have bought that. A man in his 40s is like, you know, good luck. God bless you. A man in his 20s is going to text you back and forth, and he going to go in back and forth with you, and he going to be like, oh, man, whatever. And he going to be blocking you and unblocking you and all of that stuff. A man in his 40s don't even care. You going to say the last thing that you said, and then he not going to respond to it, and he just going to be like, that's crazy. Where we getting to where we got to go. We not waiting to see if you going to come along. I'm keeping it 100, especially if he not married no more. A man in his 40s is more toxic than a woman in her 20s. So for a lot of y'all, if you think that you're going to get a guy, okay, you know what, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to live my life and then I'm going to settle down in my 30s and my 40s and I want, you know, this king to come along that's already put together and save me. Boy, that he going to take you through it. He'll take you through it. You get emotionally attached. Now, if you know what you're getting yourself into and you understand that it's going to be spurts of great times and then times of non-existence, then okay, then jump into it. Head first. You got it. If you think that you're going to come in and you're going to fall in love and he's going to be emotionally intelligent, but leverage that in order to make sure that you feeling comfortable and safe. Okay. As I've gotten older, my tolerance has gone down. Way down. You know, crashing out. Ain't none of that. Keeping it 100 with you. Ain't no crashing out. Ain't no problems. We ain't beefing. Ain't nobody about to go back and forth with you or whatever. If you was trying to get me, if you was trying to figure out what I was gonna do, you should have did that in my 20s. You should have did that in my 30s. By the time I get 40, I don't even pick up the phone. That's how comfortable you get as a man that got motion in his 40s. You don't even text back. Sometimes people send me stuff and I just hit them with the you know how you can long press it and hit them with the like or the exclamation marks or the laughing emoji. It's not that we didn't want to get it back in touch with you or we didn't want to text you back. That's not it. I just forgot because I wasn't thinking about it at the time. Nobody is special anymore. You know who becomes the most special to a man in his 40s? Him. He's the most special to himself. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You think you did it? You ain't seen nothing. Y'all got rookie numbers. Rookie numbers. We don't even trip about that. Dinner? Tripping over that? I see you. We chilling. We comfortable. We chilling. And we trying to figure out what our next move is going to be. And 9 times out of 10, that has nothing to do with a woman. Ever. Ever. Not even a little bit. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these cash apps and super chats. And then we're going to go from there. Guys in their 40s, they so extra with it that we won't respond to your text message, but then when we finally talk to you, we'll be like, oh, you're not happy to hear from us? Well, you didn't text me back. You tripping about that? Girl, what we about to do? You ready to go eat or what? Ain't about to be arguing with you. Are you coming or no? What up, Ian? Ian said La Jolla, San Diego meetup. Ian, you think we need to be in La Jolla for a San Diego meetup? We'll talk about it. I like to go to the West Coast in the wintertime. Spencer Campbell says, good morning, bag chasers. What up, Spence? Mike, that dude, I appreciate you. What up, Mike, that dude? What up, though? Shout out to you, Zero Bay. Appreciate you. Chris, Coach Chris says, do you believe in gender roles in relationships? Yes. But then at the same time, I think that people got to do what's best for them. Because all relationships aren't the same. I think the best relationships are the ones that understand gender roles without it having to be explained. Yeah, I believe in gender roles, absolutely. Do you believe people change after a certain age or you are pretty much who you are? I think that everybody changes for the entire time that you alive on this earth. Absolutely. People changing 17, 25, 37, 44, 50, 60, 70. You're going to be different in every single part of your life. Shout out to you for the super sticker. I appreciate you, bro. Coach Chris says, whatever you need in DC, you covered. Oh, shout out to you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Coach. Jason Jocelyn says, Newsom information coming from 1986. Dang, you on Newsom's head. God bless you. Thank you, Dolores. I appreciate you. Mr. Lot says, so at 34, I'm still, oh, you rookie season. Rookies. Rookie season. Rookie numbers. Rookie numbers all day, every day. All day, every day. Shout out to Mr. Lot. LC says, ADU cooking fam. I hoping they listening. It don't matter if they listening after though. Those that get it, get it. Those that don't, won't. It's a part of the game, bro. Some people are not going to get it and some people are. All right, y'all. I want to start the show off. I always start the show off a little bit differently. Today I am going to start the show off with a gentleman that live in Oak Bluffs. All right. And he went viral, super viral, and people had a lot of things to say. Shantae, what up, though? I'm going to be reading that super chat in a second. All right, Shantae, I got you. H2, definitely going to be reading that shortly. This is a gentleman that's speaking about Oak Bluffs, all right? I'll tell you why in a second.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this is Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts, Martha's Vineyard. Now, there is no fatigue here. All right, there's no black fatigue here. There's only beauty. There's only families. There's only professionals. There are only doctors. There are only lawyers. There are only professors. There are only accountants. There are only finance people. That's what you find down here. Families enjoying themselves. Listen, Oak Bluffs has been a haven of black wealth in this country for 100 years, and I love it so very much. My wife is here. We love it. In fact, I'll be going back home today, but then we'll be back, God willing, in a week to actually enjoy ourselves because we will be spending a week here through 4th of July. It's going to be beautiful. But you know what? If you know how to act, come on down to Oak Bluffs. We'd love to have, at least I would, love to have people coming down seeing this. This is beautiful. You know what? A lot of times in the media, we get inundated with negativity regarding black people. Well, come on down to Oak Bluffs and see what's going on down here. But remember, you got to come down here. You got to know how to act. But I love it. Black wealth. Elite black wealth. But you know what we don't do is look down on everybody else. What we do is help everybody else because we want more to come down here. Anyways, continue to follow me. I am a professor, a teacher, and a financial coach, bringing financial education to the urban community and beyond. See you soon.
Now, this is the first time that I actually watched this video. All right. The first time that I've ever watched this video, I actually seen it going viral, and I seen the first part of it when he said Oak Bluffs and all of this stuff, right? And people are pissed at this guy. Black people, and this is what I really look at as fatigue. People are pissed. And I couldn't understand why they so pissed. Why is it a problem at anything that he said? I'm going to play it again.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this is Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts, Martha's Vineyard. Now, there is no fatigue here. All right, there's no black fatigue here. There's only beauty. There's only families. There's only professionals. There are only doctors. There are only lawyers. There are only professors. There are only accountants. There are only finance people. That's what you find down here. Families enjoying themselves. Listen, Oak Bluffs has been a haven of black wealth in this country for 100 years, and I love it so very much. My wife is here. We love it. In fact, I'll be going back home today, but then we'll be back, God willing, in a week to actually enjoy ourselves because we will be spending a week here through 4th of July. It's going to be beautiful. But you know what? If you know how to act, come on down to Oak Bluffs. We'd love to have, at least I would, love to have people coming down seeing this. This is beautiful. You know what? A lot of times in the media, we get inundated with negativity regarding black people. Well, come on down to Oak Bluffs and see what's going on down here. But remember, you got to come down here. You got to know how to act. But I love it. Black wealth, elite black.
So he's basically on some positive stuff. He's on some positive stuff. So, hey, man, listen, we about the celebration of wealth. Oak Bluffs down here in Martha's Vineyard. This is where the real money is. This is where people on some, if you know, you know, but you got to act right. Ain't no fatigue down here. It ain't no negativity. We just on good energy, and I would love to see you here. And we got to focus on doing the right thing. That's the type of energy and the type of time that he was on. All right, let me show you something. I'm gonna show you something. This is the comments on the video. Could have worded this better, Professor. And now he's trying to pander and acquiesce over to the community that is never going to be able to afford to get there anyway. He says, you are 100% correct. I have expressed on here many times how I should have worded it better. I'm not trying to disparage anyone. I didn't hear him disparage anybody. Let's continue. Do define the idea of how to act. This should be interesting. I don't understand why people, because I seen people that were then having a deep dive and they were mad at what he said. They were mad at what he said. It's people that's doing reaction videos and they are basically, maybe he started deleting some of the comments. And I think that this comment right here is probably the best comment so far. Shea Berry says, shh, stop telling people where he are. You know what the problem with a lot of these people, you know why some people are actually mad at him? I'll tell you why some people are mad at this guy. They're mad at him because they know that the minute that there's a certain demographic of the community that finds out about it, they not going to focus on their own neighborhoods. They not going to focus on saying where they are. You know where you're going to start seeing people pop up all of a sudden? Now that he made this type of video, I guarantee you, you're going to see people that don't have a dime to their name, and you're going to see the sexy reds start to pull up in Oak Bluffs, bro. He blowing up the spot. You know why wealth is quiet? Because they don't want you to know where they at. They don't want you to come in and mess it up. Y'all thought that it was only white people with money that then was trying to distance themselves from a certain demographic of people? Nope. Nope. All people with money. Black people that are used to having money distance themselves from a certain demographic of people. Black people that's used to having money distance themselves from poor white people. That's the part that you don't understand. They segregate themselves from a certain demographic of people. They treat everybody well, but it don't mean that you can come into their circle. And so you know they not going to want to have you hanging out inside of their communities. Did you see the way he dressed? Let me show you something. Let me get back to what he was saying. Hold on. Let me get dog back up on the screen. Look at how he dressed. Got his glasses hanging down. You see the way he dressed? That's the way they dress when they go to breakfast in the morning. Not too loud, not tripping, being able to complete sentences, saying all of the things that, you know what I'm saying? Like being able to enunciate his words correctly and properly, having well-behaved children. That's not what we used to, because we want to do things the way that we want to do things. And so people are crashing out and trying to make sure. People are crashing out and trying to make sure that, you know, They hold him accountable for being discriminatory. How you gonna hold a black person accountable for being discriminatory towards another group of black people? How can you how can you hold people are crashing out, literally crashing out over stuff like this? People are pissed. People are angry. They are upset. They are pissed off that he said what he said. And they don't want to hear what he's saying. And people are going off, whatever, so on and so forth. And it's like, oh, oh. They upset about it. They bothered about it. They doing a reaction videos to him and trying to make it seem like, oh, you just elitist. You're elitist. And when the spot get blown up, and when people start to go to these places and they start to, ghettoify it, you can't blame anybody except for the community as a result of it. And I think that people should start discriminating. I believe that we should start discriminating not based off of things that you can't control, like the color of your skin or your gender. I believe that we should start discriminating based off of your standards, your morals, your ability to act, carry yourself, whether you're educated. I believe that we should discriminate based off of education. Oh man, that's not politically correct. Anton, you can't say that. Anton, this and that. Why shouldn't we? Education in this country, educating yourself. And I'm not saying that you got to get a master's degree. I'm saying educating yourself and constantly learning, constantly improving, constantly doing things to improve your self-worth, to improve your own vocabulary, to improve your ability to learn things and communicate effectively. Educating yourself don't entirely have anything to do with your formal education. Educating yourself has something to do with continuously growing. Yes, we should discriminate based off of education. Everybody don't deserve to be in a room with you just because you're nice to them. If you can't read past a second grade level, do better. I don't have to be compassionate towards you because you decided to drop out of school and you never wanted to pick up a book and read. That's your fault. That's something that you can control. I read every day. And that way, when I get on the Millionaire Morning Show, I don't have to worry about my ability to read because I already know how to read. When I read, whatever it is that I'm reading, the reason why we have to use so many visuals is because a lot of people don't want to read. Yes, we should discriminate based off of certain things that we can't control. Do you know how to act right? That's why I don't invite everybody over to the meetups. Most people are trying to get as many people inside of whatever venues. I heard Adam 22 couldn't even sell out. He couldn't even sell 30 tickets. You know why he couldn't sell 30 tickets despite having 5 and 6 million subscribers on his channel? And we be busting out the doors, busting out the windows, everybody be partying and having a good time. You know why he couldn't sell 30 tickets? It's because his demographic of people probably don't even buy tickets like that. It's because that's a whole nother group of people. He's catering to a low common denominator type of person. I'll put out on this or the Patreon or whatever, hey man, we going here or whatever. People just start booking tickets. People be booking tickets, booking hotel rooms. They don't say, hey, Anton, I want to make sure I get my money together. I never, ever hear that. You know what I hear from my people? You know what I hear from my people? I want to make sure that it accommodates my schedule. You got to be kidding me. Anton, I'm a college assistant professor, and kids out of high school don't know how to read. It's really bad. If you don't know how to parent your kids correctly, Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should stay home and focus on the kiddies instead of trying to go to the latest usher. Y'all made sure. You know what they made sure that they did? You know what they made sure that they did? They made sure, thank you for the chat. They made sure that they got their money together to go to Usher Chris Brown's concert. But you ain't spent a dime on tutoring. Oh man, I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to pay for that online class. No, I'm not doing that, so on and so forth. So they don't have nothing to say about their children suffering, but you know what they're going to make sure that they do? They going to be at the Chris Brown Usher. Ain't nobody got no money. Ain't nobody $1,000. It's short. People riding around. Cars ain't fixed. No car insurance. But they're going to be at Usher Chris Brown, and they're going to get the backstage tickets that they can take the picture. Because that is a moment that they have to capture for the rest of their life. They got to capture that moment for the rest of their life. That is a Kodak moment. We have to make sure that we get that up on our timeline. We got to put that on Instagram ASAP. Self-improvement, we don't care about that. We don't care about that. We're not worried about any self-improvement. What? You're asking me to pour into myself? Why would I study who's going to be the candidates in the latest election when I have to go and make sure that I memorize Usher's set list and Chris Brown's set list? We got to be able to sing along, girl. Come on, let's get these tickets. Memorizing, studying, education, stock club. I got to memorize this Usher set list and this Chris Brown set list, baby. Rob, you crazy. Real talk. Here's my thing about people, right? Because I'm not telling y'all that y'all have to be prissy 1,000% of the time or anything like that. But what I am asking is a very simple question. Why can't you do both? Why is it always one thing or the other? Why can't you go and sit in the nosebleeds and get the cheaper tickets while at the same time invest in yourself? Just asking a question. Just asking a question. Why can't we have a good balance of reality and at the same time inspiration that we're working towards to be better versions of ourselves? I like nice things, and I also like to be smart with my money. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to invest my money, and I'm going to go and enjoy myself according to whatever my affordability rating is. It's one of the biggest lessons that I teach my daughter on a regular basis. I say, Les, it's a time for everything. It's a time to go and have fun. It's a time to go ball. It's a time to go spend money. It's a time to go and run up a bag. And then it's a time to sit still. You don't always have to do something. You don't always have to go somewhere. Sometimes we need to lock in and do what we're supposed to do. That's an option too, Lucky Leo. He says, I can't do nosebleeds. I'd rather not go. I'm cool with you. That's cool. Y'all will spend $5,000 between tickets, outfits, transportation. Some of y'all is getting hotel rooms in the cities that y'all going and seeing these people at. Y'all will spend a bag. Y'all will spend $5,000 to go and see. And listen, shout out to Usher and Chris Brown. Get y'all money. Y'all will spend all of this money and all of this time catering to them. They not going to remember you. They not going to know your name. And at the same time, you'll be falling behind on your car note. And then criticizing this guy for saying that you got to come correct when you come over to Oak Bluffs. I'm scared to go and visit. I've never been there before. I don't even think it's for me. I'm scared to go and visit because it seems like that him saying too much is probably opening it up to the world. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Shout out to Shantae Jackson. Shantae says, hey, Anton, I will be in DC at the meetup. I need a coaching call. All right, Shantae, hit me up. You know how to get in touch with me. I'm taking them now. I said I wasn't taking them at that time. I got you, Shantae. I got you. Good morning. After hours was fun last night. Shout out to H2 Codes. I appreciate you. Beans and greens. You hit me with a 50 ball? Hold on. Let me get this. And then ain't even asked for nothing. Ain't say nothing. Just says, morning, AD. Have a great day. Oh. You know what I'm thinking about, beans and greens? Speaking of, because I'm about to go into this sentencing, the Julio Foolio sentencing. You know what I was thinking about? I'm thinking about getting rid of all of my collection, all of my watches, all of my Rolexes, probably keep one Omega, maybe one Rolex, and only buying Patek's going forward. I'm thinking about just switching up my entire not Richard Mill, not APs. I'm thinking about getting rid of all of my Rolexes and only going Petite for Petite Philippe. That's what I'm thinking about. What do y'all think about that? I'm thinking about just getting rid of the whole collection and just going and wiping it out and starting all over and just doing one different style. You like that, Angie? Godfather, look, you doing a giveaway? No, I didn't say I was doing a giveaway. I said I was getting rid of everything. And then going with a whole nother vibe. Why can't I have both? I don't know. What's up, Tabby? You miss me? I miss you too, Tabby. Show us one what? Show a Patek? I don't have one. I think the Pateks is more exclusive. I just like the style. And it's not as loud. It's not as loud. Let me see. Gotta love the Nautilus. They got some beautiful timepieces, bro. They expensive though. They expensive. They can get up there. I don't know why somebody said that they small. These is 40 millimeters though. Bro, this ain't small at all. Not even a little bit. Going something like this is so gorgeous, bro. Any Nautilus is beautiful. 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 Absolutely beautiful. So this is what I'm thinking about. Not this stuff, the Richard Mille, Frank Mueller. I don't care nothing about none of that type of stuff. I like this right here. This is it right here. And so all of this is if you know, you know. A little ghetto chick, she not gonna recognize this right away. She don't know nothing about this. The Aquanaut, oh my God. So yeah, I'm thinking that this is me. I'm thinking that this is how I want to kind of move going forward, but So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm thinking about getting rid of all of this right here, cause I did it. You know what I'm saying? I did it. It is what it is. It's not a big deal to me no more. Um, Thinking about going with something different. Geno Smith baby mama video. What happened in Geno Smith baby mama video? What happened with Geno Smith baby mama? Geno Smith. You said Geno Smith, right? Investigated after a battery accusation. All right, let me pull it up real quick. And then we'll get into this other stuff. Geno Smith. Let me pull it up. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me find out what's going on. We don't want to assume, and I'm not going to just give an opinion without being educated on what's being said about him. I do hate that for a lot of people though, man. I don't like the fact that they got to go through what they're going through. Let's see what's happening with Geno Smith. Some people are saying that it's false accusations. NFL has already released a statement. All right, let me go ahead and show y'all this video and then we'll get into it. Geno Smith.
As it relates to the Raiders and not pursuing Aaron Rodgers, the guy they got instead, ultimately, after trying to get Matthew Stafford, was Geno Smith in a trade with the Seahawks. After 1 year that didn't go well, Pete Carroll gone, Geno Smith traded back to the Jets, who drafted him in round 2 back in 2013. And over the weekend, a video surfaced on social media. At first, I didn't know what to do with it. And yes, we live in an age where anybody can create a video and put it on social media, and some of it is valid and legitimate and triggers an investigation. And that's what happened with this video of Geno Smith, where a woman named Kristen says he beat my ass. And there's other content there that sparked in real time because apparently she had called the police. Authorities in Davie, Florida visited Smith's house. And then yesterday it got kind of weird. Like at first, TMZ reported that the police are still reviewing the situation. Then there were reports that the case was closed. And then it became clear that, yes, the case is closed, but they're still reviewing it as they write the final report. And then, boom, last night, it was acknowledged that there's a detective who is continuing to look into the situation. And who knows where this goes for Geno Smith? The Jets aren't saying anything. Smith, to my knowledge, has yet to address the situation. But as we know, when allegations like this arise now, there's two different prongs that need to be in focus. One, will there be criminal charges? Two, will there be a personal conduct policy investigation initiated by the league, and will it result in discipline? The Ezekiel Elliott case from, 9 years ago now.
Pulling
He was
up the
never
Geno Smith
arrested.
video.
He was never sued. He got suspended by the league because the victim in that case, alleged victim, Well, the NFL decided it wasn't alleged victim. The NFL decided it was victim. He cooperated extensively with the NFL.
All right, let me pull this up. Let me do this real quick.
Geno just beat my ass. That's why. I came in there, I put 7 down, and I left. You ran outside and attacked me, bitch.
This is crazy.
You came outside and attacked me. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck about y'all. Bitch.
Leave my neighborhood.
You broke my fucking computer. Fuck you. Move. Yeah, look at you. Look at you. Get out of my car. Get out of my car. Stop!
Get up.
Yeah, she let me just go back to the original part. Let me get it.
She just called the police.
Geno just beat my ass. That's why.
She come in here and
I came in there, I put 7 down, and I left. You ran outside and attacked me, bitch.
This is crazy.
You came outside and attacked.
You're probably on the phone with his agent or some kind of representative or maybe even a organization.
Fuck you. I don't give a fuck about y'all. Bitch.
Nah. So I usually just say, hey, let's wait and let's see how it plays out. In this situation, clearly he's dealing with somebody that is crazy. Nope, I'm not on y'all's side. I'm not going to sit here and say it's his fault, none of that stuff. This woman is clearly a problem. How do you just run into the street like that and say, this is what my man was talking about in the previous video when he was saying, don't come to Oak Bluffs with this nonsense. This is what the guy in the previous video, when he says black fatigue and all of this stuff, don't matter what neighborhood you in, don't matter how many Maybachs that he had inside of his garage. Don't matter how much that is, you cannot take the ghetto. You can't take the person out of the ghetto. You can't take the ghetto out of the person. Did you see her just run away and say, help? Did y'all see that?
Fuck you. I don't give a fuck about y'all. Bitch.
She ran away screaming help when nothing was happening to her and then went back to him to go and put her hands on him when he was getting in the cars that obviously he paid for. Yeah, bro. This is what I keep saying, bro. Y'all will automatically take a girl's side and by default. And she recorded this and put this up there like she right. We supposed to look at this and say, yeah, sis, yup, you was right about it, all of that stuff. Nah, man, listen. This is why guys are fed up. And let me tell you the real travesty in this. Geno Smith is playing under a restructured deal following a March 2026 trade. All right? I'm going to tell y'all what the real problem with this is. He's playing under a restructured deal following a March 2026 trade to the New York Jets. He is making a fully guaranteed $19.5 million in 2026, which includes a base salary of $3.3 million paid by the Jets and $16.2 million bonus paid by the Raiders. His career earnings is $107 million, and I guarantee you that he's trying to play for a longer contract because he probably want at least 1 or 2 more years, and then, the possibility of endorsements or whatever other money that he's getting. But also, what a lot of people don't understand is the way that these NFL contracts are structured is if you get into domestic disputes, if you get into a situation where you get convicted or a woman accuses you of something, a lot of times they can void out the bonus that they're paying you because that's stipulated inside of the contract. So let me tell you what the real problem in this situation is. The real problem is when you got a woman doing stuff like this.
You came outside and attacked me. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck about y'all. Bitch.
Leave my neighborhood.
When you got a woman that's doing this type of stuff, all of that right there, you know what they doing? The first thing that they doing, they messing up the money. They messing up the money. That's the first thing that you're doing. You're trying to mess up my money. You're trying to mess up my contract. You're trying to get me jammed up, and you're messing up the money. The first red flag, in my opinion, the first red flag for when you're dealing with a woman is any woman that is willing to crash out, put you online, or mess up your money. It's a no-go. And we got to start vetting more effectively. I don't care how good her box is. I don't care how cute she is. I don't care how long y'all been together. You have to get up out of a situation. Get up out of a situation where a girl is willing to ruin your money and your finances. Because in my opinion, she don't love you. If she's willing to take from you the thing that means the most to you and that you make the money so that y'all can take care of them, then you definitely are in a bad situation. Hello? Hello? I'm telling you, they're going to get you jammed up. They're going to get you messed up. You're going to mess out on money. They're going to embarrass you. And this viral moment is going to have me talking about you on the internet and doing a review video because now you're going viral because she went out there and she was basically crashing out. Telling you, bro, is so many people that are dealing with people. You would not believe the amount of people in real life that are dealing with people that are willing to lose the bag, that are messing up their money, that's crashing out. One of the first things my mother taught me is when it comes to relationships, you do not mess up or stop a man from making money. Your mama taught you a beautiful thing. Quite the Creator says comes along with playing husband without being your husband territory. Ain't real. That don't have nothing to do with it. It's wives that are crashing out on a man. And they'll mess up their bag. They'll come up to their job and get them fired. They'll put a false report on him. They'll, call the police and get a domestic dispute charge, knowing that his job is saying that he can't have any blemishes on his record. You wouldn't believe the amount of military guys that got military spouses, where the woman has called his officer or whatever y'all want to call it and got him jammed up, and he can't get a promotion or he can't go into this next phase of his career because she is a bitter wife or a bitter baby mama or whatever, or they going through a divorce and she calling trying to get him jammed up in the military. Happens all the time. I hear guys saying, man, it's worse in the military because they give the spouses this and they give the spouses that. And if she says something, it don't matter if she cheating or not. I see it and I hear it all the time. All the time. You wouldn't believe how often I hear it. So if y'all sitting there telling me, oh man, this is happening or whatever, so on and so forth, and it's because he ain't made her a wife. What you think, that him making her a wife, him marrying her is going to make her change and that she's going to be a better person? You think that him putting a ring on her finger is somehow, some way going to make them more connected and she's going to stop crashing out on him? He tied her in even worse. Hello. Hello. I got to get off these spam lists.
You can also reach my virtual assistant team at 202-990.
I got to get off of these spam. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how my number is hitting the spam all of a sudden like that. These spam calls is crazy. Because then it says call back and then hit 2 to be taken from the, man, I don't want to call back. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see what's happening inside of the chat. Dark Skin Ken says, do it. Look like the Paddock, Nautilus Chronograph, Blue Index Pre-Owned 5980. Most beautiful town tone watch of all time. I don't know. Spaces says, I don't plan to meet up around my schedule. I plan to schedule around my meetup. It's always too fire to miss. Everybody is cool and networking. Shout out to Spaces. High Tolerance says, good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers. Peep out the Tampa nurse practitioner that gave a man a beat down with the pickleball paddle, and the Tulsa woman contracting herpes from an Arby's employee that spit in her food is in the email. I might review the Tulsa woman, but I don't want to get into no fighting. I can't review no fighting on this channel because then, it get more censorship. Terrible People Podcast says emotional regulation is key for the community. For every Carmelo, there's a Keisha who is willing to crash out because today ends with Y. That's pretty good. I like that one. I ain't never heard that one before. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me see something really quickly. Before we take a midday break, we always take a an audio break throughout the day. I want to go into this sentencing. So I know a lot of y'all actually remember the Julio Foolio case, and that the guys, remember when we was talking about the guy that was making a plea deal and they was making a big deal? Hold on, let me see if I can get this fixed real quick. They were doing a plea deal and they were seeing if they could they were seeing if they can get it reduced, you know, or if they can get him off the death penalty, because the light-skinned kid, they were saying that, yo, we want to use him for labor and all of that stuff. And it was a bunch of black people in the culture. They was crashing out because they were saying, why are they using him for labor? They wasn't concerned about the person that he killed. They wasn't concerned about none of the clout chasing. They was concerned about whether or not he was going to be removed from the death penalty so that he can ultimately help with labor, because it's costing taxpayers up to $70,000 a year to house these inmates. Well, guess what? They finally got sentenced today or yesterday. All right. And this is what the sentencing proceedings were. I'm going to see if I can skip through, because all of the guys supposedly gave, I haven't seen this, but they supposedly gave, you know, their thoughts before sentencing in order to plead for some kind of, you know, some kind of leniency.
Is everybody present? Looks like it. You guys switched places. Some of you did, so it caught me off guard a little bit. So, okay, but it looks like all of the defendants are present. Defense counsel's present. The state is present. All right, are both sides ready to proceed forward to sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Defense, you guys ready?
Yes, Judge.
All right. I know a number of you filed post-trial motions, so let's go ahead and hear those first. All right, Mr. Gonzalez, you can kick it off.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Brian Gonzalez on behalf of Rashad Murphy. Your Honor, I did file a motion for new trial on behalf of Mr. Murphy, and without belaboring many arguments that were already made during the course of the trial and in pretrial motions, Judge, I just, for the record, would like to just state those grounds under which we would file our motion without making any more extensive argument that has already been made,
okay,
and that the record will clearly reflect. Essentially, Judge, we would suggest that first and foremost that the verdict rendered against Rashad Murphy strike that, Judge. Your Honor, Mr. Murphy would suggest that the court erred in denying several of Mr. Murphy's pretrial motions with arguments that extended not only to the pretrial motion dates, but also during the course and scope of the trial in interim circumstances, and that were all on the record. First of all, that would be the motion to suppress Mr. Murphy's cell phone. Secondly, the motion to suppress Mr. Murphy's statements. Next, Judge, the motion.
The grandma of
Thank you. All right, Ms. Doherty, what's your response first to Mr. Gathwright's the motion for judgment of acquittal as to count 6, the tampering charge?
Well, we know that ain't happening. So there's Buddy. There's Buddy. That's the one that they was pleading for, to make sure that they could try to they dressed him up in a nice suit. They gave him a nice haircut. Now he got them county oranges on. Let's get into that. There's all of their friends. These are the crash out boys. All right. Before we even get into their statement, because I want to hear what they had to say. These are the crash out boys. These are the people that's in the streets that are doing it for clout. They doing it for visibility. They doing it in order to get some kind of fame or whatever. These are the ones that they want us to save and be a part of when it comes to the community. All right. Is that a mom?
Just have her stand in front of the podium. That's fine.
Good morning.
Good
Thank you,
morning.
Judge, for
Afternoon, actually.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for allowing me to address the court. I'd like to say that this everything has really opened and brought a lot of attention to a lot of things that are going on in the community and in the neighborhood of Jacksonville and also elsewhere.
Mr. Snarty, you're talking too loud. I can't hear Ms. Lau.
Elsewhere in the country. We have received a lot of support and a lot of comments about people who've learned a lot about the judicial process throughout this, which I think is very, very important, and also has sparked a lot of conversation in regards to parents communicating with their children and letting people realize that it doesn't matter what your situation is. You never know what can happen in life. And
all right, I want to get to them. There we go. This is the part where I want to go.
Your Honor, I just thank you once again for allowing me the opportunity. I prepared just a little something. I worked kind of pretty thoughtfully on it, so I just ask that you allow your discretion for me to.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Thank you.
As long as it's respectful.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You hear all of that humility in his voice all of a sudden? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Here we are, being sentenced for the murder of Charles Jones on the day he was killed 2 years later. Now, some may say this is just a coincidence, but I believe that nothing has been, is, or ever will be left up to chance, and that everything in this world is predestined. And there are many biblical promises of that belief holding true.
Oh, now we believe in predestination. Now it's no longer about choices, actions. Now all of a sudden they've been watching Anton from AntonDaniels.com and they're saying, you know what? I'm not really sure that there's choice. There's illusion of choice. There's a predestination of things happening the way that they were supposed to happen. Hey, maybe it was fate. I don't know.
Jeremiah 1:5 says, before you were formed in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you, plans for good and not for disaster. And Romans 8:28 says, we know all things work together for good to those who love God and are called to his purpose.
Amen.
And there are many more just like them. God has full sovereignty over our lives. He chooses our times of peace and prosperity, our times of joy and laughter. But he also chooses our traumas and our tribulations, not to punish and tear us apart, but to strengthen our character and our faith. Everyone wonders how and why I ended up in a situation like this, despite growing up with a loving family, nice home, multiple opportunities, and promising potential. Some act as if it is impossible or unheard of for someone like me to find themselves in a situation like this. But in reality, it is much more common than we think, and has been happening long before today. There is a parable Jesus shared with the world called the prodigal son, a son who had the nice home, loving family, servants. He had his every need catered to, yet he still chose to take his inheritance and venture off to a far country where he indulged in prodigal living.
So wait a minute. Now all of a sudden, you know the prodigal son. Y'all see how well he can read? Honestly, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. All jokes aside, this is sad. This is so sad because he knows how to read. He's not having any run-on sentences. He obviously knows how to research. He can type. He knows how to communicate effectively. He's using that, yet, and the with correct pauses and exclamation points. He's emphasizing and being so respectful, raised in a good environment, and yet you wanted to put yourself in a space. This should be required watching for every single young person. I would advocate that this become a part of the school curriculum. In Civics 101, for every high school student in Michigan. We should also have a case review, which includes the Julio Foolio case, where this young man decided that he wanted to be a crash out boy, and now he's citing the prodigal son in order to somehow, some way have a redemption and to get leniency in his sentence so that he can get out of prison, maybe the possibility of getting out of prison one day. Can't officially admit guilt because we still have to go through the appeals process, but is able to reference and cite everything that happens, works to the good of those that love God. We're predestined. We knew you before you was going to be on this earth. And I'm like the prodigal son. I'm not really this guy, but I was raised in a good environment, and now I have to be out here into the wilderness, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to do some great things. Interesting. Very interesting. These dudes got more education. But see, this proves my point. This proves my point in the community. We not victims. We are not victims. We are intentional. We are victim, acting like we're victims. We're acting like I'm a part of the system. But for some reason, this sentence is going to wake you up. It's going to wake your black behind up. You are not a victim. Stop trying to act like black people are behind the ball because we have a lack of education or a lack of opportunity or any kind of procedure. No, you drove out of your way to ride on somebody you ain't never seen before in your entire life. And this is the reason why you could possibly get the death penalty. We sitting here acting like, oh man, we not educated. We don't know how to read. We don't know right from wrong. We ain't got our parents. We ain't got none of this. Bro, you in the United States of America in 2026. What you talking about? You reading better than most of these grown folks that I be going off on inside of the chat. And then they want to sit there and get mad at me. Oh man, blaming everybody. It's the white man. It's Trump's fault. It's this fault. It's that fault. They didn't give us more of this. They didn't give us more of that. Nah, you know exactly what you doing when you doing it. And 99.9% of most of y'all have no excuse why you cannot go and kill somebody else and why you can't do the right thing. You went out of your way to go and get guns. You could have did the tray. Hey, dog. Let me out, man. Hey, dog. I said, let me out, man. No, you don't want to do that. You wanted to be the guy that killed Ricky. Ricky! You wanted to be him. You wanted to be Iceman. You think you Iceman lit. You wanted to live out one of Drake's homies that got some time and that he rapped about, but he's still, even if he guilty, we gonna make sure that he paid for it. You wanted to be that. You wanted to be him. Mm-hmm. See this Aquapana? They don't serve that in prison. This glass bottle, you can't get that. You got to eat all of your stuff with a spork, or you got to eat with your hands. They don't have this in prison. This is not available for the general public. See this? See that hard glass? You'll never drink this again, ever in life. You get tap water. Y'all got to go through fix your own filtering system inside of the prison. They don't give this because they know that y'all can turn this into a weapon. They don't make this available to prisoners. You'll never have this again in your life. Crazy, bro. Insane. Now all of a sudden you know how to talk, citing scripture. Now you became a preacher.
He soon ran out of money, and a famine had struck the land he was in. And while that would have been enough signs for most to turn back, his eyes still hadn't opened, and he still hadn't come to his senses. Hungry and desperate, he found a job on a farm feeding pigs. And during these times, pigs and what they were fed were deemed as the filthiest, most impure, lowest of the low, and worst of the worst. But he was so hungry and so blind that the food he fed the pigs looked appetizing. That's when he finally came to his senses. He realized that even the servants back home had enough food to spare, yet here he is dying of hunger amongst pigs.
Look at how he's speaking.
After this eye-opening experience, he decided to return home. He was ashamed and planned to go to his father to ask for forgiveness.
Hallelujah.
And to become one of his servants because he no longer felt worthy to be called his son. But when he returned, his father embraced him with love and compassion, dressed him in the finest clothes and jewels, and celebrated his son's return with a feast, exclaiming, "This son of mine was dead and has come back to life. He was lost and is now found." It is not uncommon for good young men who come from good families to get lost in this world. But discontentment often leads these good young men astray. When scholars and historians look back on our times, I believe they will label us as the age of discontentment. And those of us who come from privileged upbringings are actually disadvantaged.
When scholars look back at our time, I believe they will label us as an age of discontentment. What? Wait a minute. When did y'all start learning big words? I thought that y'all was the jump out boys. What you mean? And he said, and he was able to read it without any kind of stumbling. No, he's not doing no ands, us, ors, not mispronouncing words, none of that. All of a sudden, he knows how to read it fast, quickly, and in order.
Fight against it. Because of the high expectations, any opportunities and options we grow up with, we don't know what struggle looks like. Or how hard our parents had to work to provide these opportunities for us.
He could have been an impactful person and a content creator or a preacher or anything. He could have been in corporate America with this type of talk.
We don't know what we have until it's gone. And it often happens after we go through our own eye-opening experience. Never in history has there been a time like now where there's so much available and so easy to consume, but we still demand more.
He's speaking
and
of
it is
parables.
clearly seen in my generation. Young men and women want to grow up faster to try to keep up with the influencers that are idolized. And this is in part due to us being so susceptible. A study done by the National Institute of Mental Health provided evidence showing that the brain doesn't reach full maturity until 26 to 27 years old.
He's citing all of this data that we use here on social media and as content creators. I just said this the other day. Your brain isn't even fully developed until you're 25, 26 years old. He's citing all of the sources.
And about 8 or 9 years older than my time during the offense. But society knows this, and that's why laws set age requirements on certain activities, amenities, and substances as a way to protect adolescent adults. Yet those same laws don't extend to an adolescent adult when they are charged with crimes and allows them to be prosecuted to the fullest extent, regardless of their age.
Well, now he's pleading based off of ignorance. I was young, dumb, and my brain wasn't fully developed.
Your Honor, it is heartbreaking that an 18-year-old can't rent a car or a hotel or buy a home, but can be sentenced to death or life in prison without the possibility of parole. They can't purchase alcohol or tobacco, but can be sentenced to death or life in prison without the possibility of parole. They can't work certain jobs or even go on a cruise without a chaperone, but can be sentenced to death without life or life without prison, in prison without possibility of parole. And I'm a prime example of these circumstances. At 18 years old, with no prior convictions, I was charged, indicted, and had to face the death penalty.
Now, he didn't say I killed him. He said I was charged.
My point is, society views anyone under the age of 21 as not being mentally mature enough to participate or partake in these activities, amenities, and substances because certain substances listed can negatively impact or stunt the growth of a developing brain, while other activities and amenities have restrictions due to the lack of impulse and behavioral control or lack of situational awareness at times with teens. It is very simple to understand that our brains have not developed enough, that we live in a society where someone under the age of 21 can be sentenced to death or life in prison without parole, leave no room for growth, rehabilitation, or redemption. We don't account for the fact that they weren't a fully developed adult and their judgment and decision-making abilities weren't developed either. I believe it is cruel for someone under the age of 21 to be sentenced to life without parole or death before they're even old enough to be fully emancipated or to fully comprehend what consequences their actions carry. I say all this because I want to see change. Change for those whose fates were sealed long before they were born. Change for the prodigal.
Oh, you Obama now. Okay, you Obama now. Change. Change for those that never knew a life beyond these walls. Change for those that would like and hope for a better opportunity in this America. Change. Those that will never be able to get health care coverage or they're being denied because of a pre-existing condition. Change. Because maybe you were born to a mother and a father who was raised on the south side of Chicago. This nigga got the whole shebang down. He had a lot of time to think about this.
Sons and daughters who ventured off too far in the world and got lost. Change for those who haven't reached full maturity or unlocked their full potential as adults. Change for the ones who never had the option to go around, over, or underneath, but straight through their obstacles. In spite of my current circumstances, I still trust in all those biblical promises. And I believe that I am exactly where God planned for me to be, a plan He created long before I was born. It is also my belief that this chapter of my life will propel me to a much greater purpose than what we see here today, because my journey has just begun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gathright.
Hallelujah. He could have ran for president of the United States of America one day. He could have been a senator. He could have been in Congress. You know, he could have been a mayor. He could have been on a city council. He could have been doing so many different things. But instead, what he chose to do was become a YN. Of all of the options that you had at your disposal, young man, clearly you had opportunity and potential, but you decided that you wanted to be a YN.
All right. Does Davion Murphy wish to say anything or anyone on his behalf? He's indicating no. Okay.
Davion said no.
Davion Murphy has no comments. Yep.
Okay. And Mr. Petratus on behalf of
Davion said, how I'm going to follow up behind this dude? Why you ain't have him go last? I can't follow up behind him. Davion, now see, and now, this is a teachable moment here, okay? This is a teachable moment. It's no reason why Sean should have been hanging out with Davion. Davion clearly should never have been. This is why we have to separate ourselves. This is why we have to leave some people behind. Because Davion said, nah, you ain't about to have me stumbling up there over my words, messing up everything, because I'm over here doing what I couldn't read that good. Sean should have defended me in the lawyers. Davion ain't going after Sean. Davion pissed because he like, y'all got the order wrong. Don't be hanging out with the Davions. Don't hang out with Davion. Sean should have never been hanging out with Davion. This is why they tell us that you want to keep on slumming it out, being in the hood, letting people shame you into thinking that you're supposed to be there. You the crash out. You gonna be the trash. We knew Davion life wasn't gonna be nothing. We already knew it. We already knew it. Somebody in the chat tell me, which one of you expected for Davion to be a success? How many of y'all thought that Davion could be the president of the United States of America? Can you hit somebody? Can you run through a pass? Davion's best goal was to become a fullback, a linebacker, O-line, defensive lineman. That was his path, Neanderthal behavior. That's why women, a lot of times, they try to put their little kids in sports. I need to put him in sports. He need to have somewhere to direct his anger. No, he just slow. And so you putting some pads on him and trying to make him out like Bobby Boucher. Davion and Sean's paths were different, and somehow, some way, they got crossed. Oh, y'all thought I wasn't going to talk about it. Y'all thought that for some reason I was going to skip past this and start having a conversation based off of whatever is politically correct. Y'all thought that I wasn't going to say that Sean and Davion had two different paths in life and there was two different expectations, but Davion and Sean somehow got connected with each other, and this is why I keep TM speaks. This is why I keep telling y'all, this is a prime example of why you need separation. Do you know what to be saved is in the Holy Ghost? You know what to get the Holy Ghost is? I'm going to mix it all together today. I'm going to put one big gumbo pot of lesson in this game today, right? I'm going to put a little spirituality. I'm going to put a little, culture in there. We're going to put some YN behavior in there. And then we're going to put some God in it. Do you know what it means to be saved, to get the Holy Ghost? You know what it means? It means to be set aside without spot, wrinkle, or blemish. It means not to soil who you are as royalty by aligning yourself with the world. We may be in the world, but it doesn't mean we hang out with the world. That's what it means. We so busy trying to be like them, and they have no capability of being like us, and so we lower ourselves thinking that somehow, some way, we're going to get their validation, but they know we don't belong with them. Ask any dude that's in the streets if they can identify, as stupid as they are, as dumb as they are, as bad as their life is going to be, ask anybody in the streets if they can identify the difference between a person that's not supposed to be there and a person that is going down this same path as me, and we both either going to end up in jail or dead. We both stupid. Even if we get away with the crime the first time, we going to do it a second time, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time until we get caught. They smart enough with they second grade reading butts. They're smart enough to know that you are supposed to be doing something completely different. We can see it. You know what, all of the people that was doing this breakdown, what they was doing, they started having a conversation on what the heck is Sean Guthrie doing there? Why is he there? He doesn't belong there. He's not supposed to be there. That's the first thing that people start saying. You know why? Because we can all see it. We can all see it. Oh, you different. You don't even belong here. They know you. They could spot you a mile away and that you're not supposed to be in the same place as them. And what do? Cater to the lowest common denominator somehow, some way. And maybe it's because we have problems in our life. Maybe we never had a father. Maybe something else happened. But we are seeking acceptance from people that know that we don't belong there. And that's how we find ourselves in a bad situation. Why are we seeking acceptance from dummies? Why are we seeking acceptance from dummies? If you can't even choose right for yourself, why am I looking to you to give me some kind of validation? You think that it's cool to come out of jail. I think it's cool to not even get to jail in the first place. They tearing down the old Wade County Jail down there in Greektown. I drove by it the other day because I was admiring all of the new landscaping because they redid Greektown and they made it a more walkable area. They put all of these tens of millions of dollars into it. And so I'm driving by and I stop and I look at it and I see they tearing down and they got half the jail taken down. I was looking in there and I seen all of the cells because they got half the building taken down, and I was marveling. I said, wow, something I never seen before. Look at all of those old cells and look at those metal beds that they're taking down and tearing down in order to make way for a new building that is going to be more conducive to the city. I was so fascinated. Ha! Look at how the Neanderthals live. Whoa! Are these the people that can't make bail because they're doing something that they're not supposed to do? Are these the holding cells before you go to court? Whoa! Hey, honey, come check it out. Those are where the Neanderthals, where they hold them. I was so fascinated that I got an inside look in a quiet space of what used to be being torn down right before my eyes. Look at this. I was so fascinated at what I was observing at that time. So this is what's behind the doors. We not of them. We're not up. And stop saying stuff like, that don't make you better. It does. Guess what? Good decision making makes you better. It makes you better than other people that don't make good decisions.
Chance, does he wish to say anything?
No, you want to say something.
Oh, no. I've moved on to Mr. Petraeus behind you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, sure. Come on up. Again, as long as it's respectful.
There we go. See what you got to say. So let's judge your reading skills. Up, got the tat on the side of his neck.
Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. Sorry.
It's all right.
Got the tat on his arm. He should have never been with Sean. Should have never been with Sean. Should have never been hanging out with Sean. Sean, what you doing?
Sorry, Judge. What I did right?
They not even in the same classroom.
Sean kind of covered like how.
See that? I told you. Yo, what I did right. Sean said that part. Did you get it, Judge? We saying the same thing that Sean said. What I did right. Sean said it already. Go over there, Sean. Hey, Sean. Nice to see you again for the second time. Sean said it. He went first. Sean said first. And I agree with Sean. And what I'm going to say now is I'm going to piggyback off of what Sean said, and I'm going to put it in my own words because I got some stuff that I want to say before census is in his office also. So, Sean, thank you for that speech that you did the first time. And this is what I'm going to say because Sean said a lot of it. So I'm going to skip to the part that's more meaningful with what I say now.
Predominantly what I did right.
Okay.
And my lawyer just told me I couldn't talk about a lot of things. So.
Well, you just need to be careful. If you start talking about the facts of the case, you could end up creating more evidence against you. So that's
Look, you see how the judge is trying to nurse him through it? So listen, son, you got to be careful. They didn't say none of that to Sean. All she said was, Sean, is it respectful? Sean said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's respectful. She coaching him through it. Now listen, baby. Now be careful what you're saying because you don't want to go against your lawyer and the facts of the case. So be very careful, son. Let me walk you through this.
probably his concern. So I just want you to be aware of that. But even if you're repeating what Mr. Gathright said, you still have the right to say it. So Jesus. I don't want you to feel that you can't talk just because Mr. Gathright already said it.
Oh, Jesus, Lord have mercy.
Okay.
This is so funny.
All right. I don't even have or know the right words to say that can rectify the intense severity of how I am situated currently, corresponding to my sentencing right now. I don't think anyone with a reasonable mind frame could adjust their conscience to the reality of something this absurd, especially being this young. This is harder than what I had intended. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like our appearances here were more political based than solely on our 6th and 14th Amendment, which guarantees our right to a fair trial with an impartial jury for each defendant.
Oh, you know how to read too, huh?
Being that.
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm flabbergasted. I'm absolutely taken aback And I'm flabbergasted. So wait a minute, you got it too? You can read. Now all of a sudden you're citing your 14th Amendment and a right to a fair trial. So you was gaslighting us. You was throttled. So now all of a sudden you get it. You know what my grandma used to say when times like this happen? He would say, "Oh, so the devil gone now." Usually it was about the time that we was getting that strap to our back. And she said, "Oh, so you do know what you're doing. So you do know right from wrong. So you do know how to act right to your teachers, huh? So the devil gone, huh?" This is years of playing himself down and thinking that he had to be the stupid one, the court gesture in the class, in order to fit in and be accepted. See, we're going to profile every last one of these young people right now, these young kings. So you know what you're doing too, huh? So you know how to read. You're able to communicate effectively. You're able to cite case law. You're able to cite the amendments. You're able to do all of this. I am taken aback. I can't. Geez Louise. I'm taken aback. So everybody know how to read. Everybody know how to make a good decision. Everybody knows how to think for themselves. You know how to communicate effectively. You can read. You can take care of your business. You can do the right thing. You're smart. Okay, so what is the excuse for going to rat out on the homies? Because let's be clear. I want to be very, very clear here. Let's say hypothetically that somebody gave him this speech to read, which I believe that they actually put these words together themselves. I do. I think that they've had a lot of time to think about it and do some course correction and run this through the course correcting software. And they still have to be able to read it and communicate it. They have to be able to say it back to the judge. They have to be able to go to the microphone and communicate it. You can't cheat that. You can't finesse that. If you know how to read, you know how to read. If you don't know how to read, you don't know how to read. If you know how to communicate effectively and be able to put your words together, then you know how to do it. You can't fake that. That means that the intelligence is there. That means that you had it in you all along. And you downplayed yourself in order to pander to the lowest common denominator of the community that wasn't going to be there for you. Because like it says at the bottom of the screen, the streets don't love you back. I'm appalled. Absolutely appalled.
I wanted to say something to you directly.
No, that's fine. And you're more than welcome to disagree with any way I may have ruled in the case. You just can't
Repeat the facts.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you don't need to repeat the facts, but you just can't be rude to me. That's all I'm asking. You can express disagreement. I have thick skin.
Oh, he knows.
There'll be an appellate review of everything I did, but just don't be disrespectful, because then I'm gonna have to tell you to sit down and it becomes a thing. So
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
just not have a thing.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
All
Okay.
respectful.
So-
Yes, ma'am. No,
Thank
ma'am.
You all right. So Judge Cisco, unlike the rest of my co-defendants here, they all are charged with being the alleged shooters and have the same verdicts. However, me, on the other hand, the one who was charged with me for playing the same alleged role as I, gets found not guilty for what I am charged with. Alicia case didn't contradict the alleged shooters versus the state case. I don't even think it's possible it could have. However, it contradicts mine being the only principal here, because both of our jury's decisions contradict each other. The only nuance is I went to trial with 3 other people who have the same verdict as I, and she didn't.
He throwing his girl under the bus. Yo, this is insane. Bro, these guys are folding like lawn chairs. At the end of the day, they all fold. They all turn against each other. Ain't no standing with each other. When them numbers in that guilty verdict come down, hey man, how did I have to stand trial with these 3? And they getting charged as shooters. And I was doing it differently, but then she was able to stand trial on her own. And so she in a whole nother space. Oh my God, bro. He couldn't wait. He would prefer to not do this in front of everybody. But he like, hey man, listen, I don't deserve to be I don't deserve to be here, Judge. What am I doing here? And the only difference between my jury and her jury, and they actually conflict each other because we was both doing the same thing. I don't know what they had going on. They got charged with something different. That ain't my plight, Judge. That ain't my plight, Judge. Oh, man.
At least you get found not guilty for my current charge. It wasn't a coincidence. Basically what I'm saying is, Alicia, in the state alleged that we played, that's getting into like the facts of like the case.
Well, that's okay. If I'm hearing you correctly, you are taking issue with the fact that I don't know if she's your current or former girlfriend, but she went to trial. She was convicted of a manslaughter and got 15 years, and now you're here facing life, and that I would assume that seems unjust to you. Is that correct?
That's highly unjust. I seen Susie Lopez on the news this morning, and she was saying that justice has
and she gonna be out in 7 too. She got 15. She'll be out in 7.
been served. Absolutely, if you see it from that perspective. But everything that's a perspective is based off perception. So if you say that's justice, okay, but when you look at, if you put me and Alicia up on,
this dude is doing case law,
like side by
in real
side,
time,
that's unjust. Like, it's injustice. Like, it doesn't make
every
sense.
man
Like,
for
it's
themselves in
contrary
this
to
situation.
My verdict, like, her jury made their decision. My jury our jury made their decision, but it contradicts like both of our verdicts. The only difference is, like, I went to trial with my co-defendants and she went to trial by herself. So I feel like personally, I got guilt more so by association than like participation.
Hey, every man for themselves at this point. Hey, bro, you on your own. Sean, thank you for the speech. Girlfriend, hey, we got to throw her under the bus and use her as case law now. And I shouldn't even been standing with these dudes. I should have been charged on my own.
That's all I really wanted to say.
This is
sorry,
beautiful.
This is way more harder than I anticipated.
You said that 3 times.
But that's all I don't think.
Sure. And you probably know when Miss Andrews went to trial, she basically pinned it all on you.
Absolutely.
These hoes ain't loyal. Yeah. Listen, all of that pillow talk, y'all having that good old loving session. You kissed her in the mouth. I love you, baby. Oh my God, yes. No, listen. And then you stopped. And you looked her in her eyes. And you said, you love me? She said, yes, I love you. You down for me? Yeah, I'm down for you. We together forever. We locked and loaded, no matter what, till death do us part. Yes, honey. Soon as they got arrested, she was like, hey, it's all on him. It's his fault. You know what? He coerced me. He persuaded me. It was his fault. He took me against my will. I don't know what to do, Judge. Shebang.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. You know, when as I sit with my lawyer, like, he's very he's probably shivering over there because he don't know what I'm gonna say out my mouth.
Right. He's very concerned.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people don't know, but before you go to trial, you try to be optimistic, but everything is done strategically. So how the lawyers optimize what they're gonna say or what they're gonna do, they do it with the client. You know, I'm not saying what she's saying was wrong or not wrong, or what he wanted her to say, or what she said, you know. But That's all though. I want to say something to like Jacksonville though too. So to my city, man, it ain't worth it, boy. Like it ain't worth it. Like me being a rapper from my city and Foolio being a rapper from our city, it ain't worth it. Like my mouth getting dry, sorry. Like the dissing, the beefing, the shooting, like for what? Like for what? Like when you sitting in your cell alone, cold, it's lonely as hell in that bed. Everybody leave you. Like nobody here for you. Like the ones that's your ride or die, your girlfriends, whoever you love, the only person that's for you is your mother, and maybe like one friend, maybe. It ain't worth it though, bro. It ain't worth it. I was 21 years old facing the death penalty. I never ever, my only interactions with law enforcement was traffic tickets. Wake up next morning, I'm facing the death penalty. That's how quick life can change. It ain't worth it, bro. That's all though. And sorry if I was nervous. Sorry.
No, it's okay, Mr. Chance. And thank you for saying that.
Yes, ma'am.
So now he basically saying the same thing that I've been telling y'all all this time. And hopefully maybe you hear it from the person that's not even sentenced yet. He's telling you what we've been saying all this time. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Maybe you hear it from him. It's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. But we got to get more. We got to get more. Is it anybody? Oh, so they let him come up.
The court reporter just needs to hear what you're saying, Mr. Murphy.
I want to hear what Glocktavius got to say. Come on, let's get to it.
I forever retain to God be the glory all the time.
Hey, he didn't. Hey. You're supposed to wait for somebody else to say all the time. If you say, to God be the glory, praise God, all the time. Hey, he responded to himself. All right, to God be the glory, all the time. Yeah.
And he'll forever have the last say so in our situation.
Nah, neither one of them should have been hanging with this guy.
As I said in my interrogation interview, I'll be judged for it and I'll forever retain my innocence. And I just want to say to the Gen Z generation, change your life and do something productive with your life. Because in this predicament, it ain't worth it. And like it was said before, this is not my first rodeo down this road, so it's this.
What did I say? I said that Sean should have never been hanging with this dude and aligning with this dude in the first place. I don't know what his background is. I didn't know that this wasn't his first rodeo, but I could spot it. It's the same way that we could spot it, the same way that the dudes in the streets can spot whether or not you're not supposed to be there. We can spot whether or not we supposed to be hanging out with you. He already in it. He already knew what his fate was. In the interrogation room, he probably was like, hey man, listen, whatever it is, I'm going to maintain my innocence, but whatever happened, happened. This ain't his first rodeo.
It's looking like forever, but I'll forever keep a positive mind state and a positive mindset. But to God be the glory forever. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
This dude said it's looking like forever.
Mr. Rashad Murphy, anything you want to say or at all? You don't have to. Just giving you the final chance.
I love everybody.
Okay.
I love
All right,
everybody.
Very good. All right.
Time to be sentenced as a group.
So a couple things before I pass sentence. First of all, I want to commend the lawyers again. I know I did it at the close of the trial, but this was a massive case. I mean, it's by far the longest case, the most intricate case, the most difficult case that I've ever handled in almost 24 years. And I know for you all as well, it had to have been, I can't even imagine the Herculean task of all the evidence and sorting through it. And you all always conducted yourselves with the utmost professionalism. And I just want to again express my gratitude for that, how seriously everyone took the case. I never ever have to worry about any of the lawyers before me ever not abiding by the rules of professional conduct. I never have to worry about you being disrespectful to detectives testify. Look good. I also want to comment, Detective Taylor Klein yielded results for the state of Florida. I also want to commend the cooperation. I really don't know what to say about what's going on in Jacksonville. Again, and I don't know if it's getting better or not, but I was stunned. And when I was sitting there listening to the evidence and just the trail of dead bodies, just one young man after the next, just cut down in the prime of their lives. I mean, it's shocking. It is shocking. And I just can't believe that any community, if they're made aware of it, will stand by and put up with that. I mean, it's just tragic. And, you know, Mr. Jones did not deserve to die for what he did or what he drilled, the drill rap videos he made. But goodness gracious, going and desecrating the gravesite of a murdered relative is, you don't deserve to be killed for that, but you just increased your odds that it was going to happen. And that's the truth. That is the truth. So I'm not at all, again, stating that he deserved it, but it's just shocking. It's shocking to me. And I do have great sympathy for the defendants. You all, for the most part, are young men. And some of you have children. And now, for what? For what? Now, you're looking at life in prison. And what was it for? And I really appreciate Mr. Gathright and Mr. Chance really speaking to your community. Like, these decisions that are made can have unalterable changes that you can't come back from. There's no coming back from them. You either end up dead or incarcerated for life. And I feel like, you know, you gentlemen had much more to offer this world. You did, and you do. And so, in particular, you know, Mr. Rashad Murphy and Davion Murphy, listen, there's no question you guys had a difficult childhood. There is no question. The hand that you were dealt from Jump Street was not the best. There is no question about that. Again, it's not an excuse, but I do acknowledge it. Mr. Chance and Mr. Gathright, you all, unlike the Murphys, you all did have positive role models in your life. Mr. Chance, you had a dad that testified and appeared to be a good role model, and a stepfather that cared about you. And Mr. Gathright, you, as you acknowledged, you had so many opportunities that most people don't have. Crazy. I mean, you started off, you're the hand that you were dealt, the cards that you were dealt were pretty good. They were pretty darn good. Better than the average person.
And they all ended up in the same courtroom, all being tried for the same crime, and all getting the same sentence at the same time.
So it's...
And some of them got kids.
Particularly I am heartbroken for you. I'm heartbroken for your family members. I'm heartbroken for your children. I am. So I do have great sympathy. But you have been convicted. Oof, and it was a horrible crime that was committed, and there is a price to be paid, and there's just no way around that.
Not that butt, Jesus.
I do find it remarkable, and I hope that you can maintain.
Yo, why am I nervous? Why am I nervous for them?
Your positive outlook. Each of you still has a life of value. And going forward, the quality of the life that you have every day will come down to the choices you make. And so I hope that you continue to make choices, and then you realize you do have value and you can contribute. And you started today by speaking to the members of your community, particularly the younger men, that this is not the way to go. It's not. It's not. Because look, we have Charles Jones is dead and 4 people who will now spend life in prison. And again,
I just can't leave my fate up to somebody else telling me what I can and can't do. I can't, bro. I cannot put my fate in the hands of a person that's going to say whether I can be free or I can't be free, and then how much time it's going to take for me to get free if I can be free. I can't do that, bro. I can't. I can't sit there shackled up with somebody dragging me somewhere where I don't want to go when I don't want to do it. I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
For what? For what? Nothing over nothing. Turf warfare, drill rap videos. I mean, it really is nothing. So one thing I found that was, when I was listening to the testimony, I think when Robert Howard testified, he testified that Jacksonville was the new little Chicago. And I almost fell out of my chair because I can't even.
Hey, how bad of a reputation do you have to where somewhere is experiencing a rise in death, crime, drill music, and cultural norms, and now they say that the judge says I almost fell out of my chair because they called Jacksonville the new little Chicago. How bad does an area have to be to where you've developed a reputation to, and now they're referencing you, Chicago, and saying, oh my God, Jacksonville is the new Chicago. They're referencing y'all to say what we don't want to be like as a community and as a culture. Do you know how embarrassing that has to be for a judge to be sentencing somebody and they're saying that it's the new little Chicago? You know how sad you have to be doing as a job? Brandon Johnson, because I know you and your little cronies watch the show. You know how bad you have to be for a judge to cite that at sentencing, that the city that they are convicting people in is becoming the new little big brother place that you don't want to be doing crime in. You know how crazy that sounds? Good grief. I'm about to change my other channel. I ain't even going to tell y'all what I'm about to do. I done got new inspiration. I've got new inspiration today.
Imagine anyone in Jacksonville wanting that comparison. So I was.
Hey, I can't imagine anybody in Jacksonville wanting to be known as the new little Chicago. Why would anybody want to do that?
Curious, I looked it up, and who knows if this is accurate, but apparently in Chicago last year, there were 406 homicides. A quarter of that was gang-related.
So she doing the same research that we doing over here on the Millionaire Morning Show.
That's about 104 people. Dead, poof, gone. For what? For what? So, I just want you all to know that, and I really do hope that, at least in the community of Jacksonville, that there are serious changes. I don't know why this scourge of gang violence has cropped up. I have no idea. I really am not familiar with Jacksonville. I don't know the whys, but I hope that the community does come together to end it, because Jacksonville just can't keep losing so many young men cut down in the prime of their lives. Can't do it. Continue doing it. So, okay. Anything further before I pronounce sentence? No, Your Honor.
Nothing on behalf of Rashad Murphy.
Now, ain't nobody gonna come to y'all. Ain't no civil rights leaders. We'll talk about it in a second.
No, Your Honor, on behalf of Davion Murphy.
All right. So, Mr.
Nervous.
Chance, I'm going to start first. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Count 1, sentence you to mandatory life without the possibility of parole. Count 2, I will.
My knees got weak. Oh, God. Yo, they are less than half my age and they will be in the prison for the rest of their... He got life before he could stand up. My knees is buckling. Oh, I'm starting to get a little bit of diarrhea. My teeth is chattering. Oh, I'm never going to see a woman again. Ooh. Ooh, my stomach hurt. Judge, bailiff, take me to the bathroom. Oh, my God. Oh, I felt bad for Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence when they got life in the movie, and it was fictional. And I said, no, not Claude. Claude didn't even do nothing. He wasn't even supposed to be there. I felt some... This is the honest to God truth. When we did a review video and we watched Life. We watched Life, the movie. My knees buckled when they gave Claude life. He's alive? Bro, that means you're never coming home. You're never coming, never. You're never coming home, ever. Ever. You're over what? Over drill rap videos? On the internet? I'll be hurt if I lose $1,000. Feelings be hurt. Attitude turn bad. Got to start taking a nap. Life. And she said it before he even could stand up. Look, hold on.
Mr. Chance, I'm going to start first. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. Count 1, sentence you to mandatory life without the possibility of parole. Count 2, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life to run concurrent with count 1.
Oh. Oh.
Mr. Gathright.
You could have left me sitting down for that.
On count 1, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. You also have a 20-year minimum mandatory sentence. On count 2, the conspiracy, I will sentence you to 30 years in prison to run concurrent. Count 3, attempted murder in the second degree, I will sentence you to 30 years Florida State Prison with a 20-year minimum mandatory sentence, again to run concurrent with all other counts. On count 4, attempted murder in the second degree, adjudicate you guilty and sentence you to 30 years prison with a 20-year minimum mandatory sentence, again to run concurrent with all other counts. Count 5, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 years Florida State Prison with a 20-year minimum mandatory sentence, again to run concurrent with all other counts. And on count 6, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 years Florida State Prison, again to run concurrent. And again, for you and Mr. Chance, give me credit for all time served. As to Davion Murphy, Mr. Davion Murphy, I will adjudicate.
Yo, Davion ain't got a shot in hell. If I was Davion, I would just be like, you could have left me and my cell for this. Davion, listen, if Sean and the first dude got life, Davion ain't got a chance in hell.
Adjudicate you guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and you will have a 20-year minimum mandatory sentence as part of the life sentence. Count 2 on the conspiracy, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life to run concurrent. On the attempted murders, counts 3, 4, and 5, I will adjudicate you guilty of each of those, sentence you to life in prison with a 20-year minimum mandatory sentence on each, again to run concurrent with all of the other counts, and again giving you credit for all time served. And finally, Mr.
Hey, dog just gave the nod. He did that. You see what he did?
Served. And finally, Mr. Rashad Murphy, I will adjudicate you guilty of murder in the first degree, sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and you will also receive a 20-year minimum mandatory sentence. On count 2, conspiracy, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison to run concurrent with count 1. On counts 3, 4, and 5, I will adjudicate you guilty on each of those, sentence you to life in prison. Each of those carries a 20-year minimum mandatory, again, to run concurrent with all other counts, and giving you credit for all time served. All right, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
I do wish you gentlemen the best. I really do, to make the most of your lives going forward.
At the end of the day, the conclusion is the streets don't love you back. The streets cannot save you. The culture will not give you a break. Nobody is going to be there writing you letters and putting money on your commissary. Your mama is the only person that loves you in this situation. And she gonna have to move on with her life. Social justice warriors ain't coming. Al Sharpton not gonna protest on your behalf. D.L. Hughley can't racism you out of this situation. It's nobody that can get you out of this. If you are reincarnated and they find out that you are somebody else, you got to do life again. And then you got to do life again. Without no possibility of parole at all. That hurts. I ain't even gonna lie. That's painful. That's painful. You can't dig your way out of that. You ain't never gonna be able to experience certain things in life that you were supposed to experience. You supposed to be white picket fence, barbecues. They got new cars that you ain't never gonna be able to drive that ain't even out yet. There's new technology, social media. You ain't gonna be able to get no Ray-Ban glasses. You ain't never gonna be able to get another piece of box. It's twosomes, threesomes, foursomes with 3 different chicks all at the same time that you may wanted to do when you never gonna experience. It's different places, scenery, mountains. The air is different. Life is just gonna be passing you by, and you just gonna be sitting there watching it in a 6x9. Oh my God. I would rather receive the death penalty than be sitting there rotting away. No appeal. Hey man, just take me out back and just take me now. I'm not about to sit here and rot away. Honestly, man, listen, man. Dog, you not about to put me in vicinity of a bunch of other men for the next 70 years? I'm supposed to be next to him? Bunkies. Taking a dump next to my bed. Metal bed. Never will be able to get a better mattress. Man, hey. Take me out back, bro. Take me out back, man. I don't want no parts of this. I'm straight. I'm good. Hey, how about we do a bathroom break for y'all? Get our heads straight. Get some more water. I'm almost out of aquapana. They'll never be able to drink this. Get some more water. And take 4. Hold on, let me see how long this song is. Give y'all a new song every day. 3.5, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Nope, we don't want to listen to that one. I had a different song queued up, but I'm gonna do this one. Hold on. Woo!
Nah, we just getting started.
All right, we back. Shout out to Pink Sweats. That song is called Scared and Love. Scared and Love. That's one of my favorite songs. I love that song. It's a dope song. It be popping. And allow for me to be able to get in my feelings. Allow for me to be able to get in my feelings so much. Y'all ready to get back to the show? Are y'all ready to get back to the show? Good gosh. Yo, I ain't even gonna cap, bro. That was a lot. Honestly, that was a lot. To listen to somebody basically have their entire life gone in an instant, and that there is no coming back from it, and it's just over. I just can't, bro. I can't fathom at all what you would do in that type of situation. Whoo! Man, oh man. Protect your sons. Teach them right. Raise them right. Because listen, I know some of y'all will sit there and say, "Oh man, I don't believe in being hard on them. I don't believe in pushing them. I don't believe in doing this and I don't believe in doing that." Let me tell you something, bro. Be hard on your kids, man. Be hard on your kid if they need it. Don't be afraid to discipline them. Don't be afraid to push them. Don't be afraid to be tough on them, because the world is going to be tough on them. The world is going to be unrelenting and very tough on your kid. And so if you don't get on it, if you don't get on top of it, and if you don't push them to do what they supposed to do, then guess what? Somebody else will. And you don't want somebody else to be pushing your kid, bro. Real talk. The last thing you want is for somebody else to be pushing your kid, because if they got to control it, it's not going to be good for them. That's all I'm saying, man. It's not worth it for you to allow for your kid to have their way, thinking that you're going to be their friend, because nobody can save them. Once the system get a hold of them, that's it. They're going to get life in jail. It ain't going to matter no more. And eventually it may even get to the point to where they tell their mama, "Hey, ma, don't even come and check on me no more, because ain't nothing here. Go off and live your life. Your girl going to turn on you. Your homie's going to turn on you. Everybody going to turn on you, and ain't nobody going to come back and save you, bro." Be tougher on your kids. Be tougher on your kids. Save your children's lives by being the parent that they need, instead of being the friend that you think make them feel good at the time. And you know what I mean by being tough. I ain't got to say it. We ain't going to do it. You know what I mean. Keep on playing this gentle parenting nonsense and BS. Get on them. Massive fraud ring brought down by the FBI. Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. Nick Shirley did right, and this is the reason why they got the Nick Shirley Act passed right now. Hospice fraud.
Today, we are announcing federal and state charges, all of which were charged or unsealed at some point over the past 2 weeks, the past 14 days. Coordinated nationwide action. Since June 8th, we've charged 455 defendants across 56, like I said a minute ago, U.S. attorneys' offices, and 45 U.S. states and territories. As alleged in the various indictments, these individuals participated in healthcare fraud schemes involving over $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. The team around me will get into more specifics, but here are a few points that stand out. In one indictment, we're bringing charges against a corporate executive in Arizona in connection to over a $1 billion fraud involving unnecessary wound grafts. This alleged scheme cost Medicare over $1 million per patient. In total, our indictment charges 11 defendants for over $2 billion in fraudulent claims in connection to alleged wound care schemes.
Let me rewind that real quick. I want to hear this number one more time.
$1 million per corporate executive in Arizona in connection to over a $1 billion fraud involving unnecessary wound grafts. This alleged scheme cost Medicare over $1 million per patient. In total, our indictment charges 11 defendants for over $2 billion in fraudulent claims in connection to alleged
11 defendants
for over $2 billion in fraud.
11 defendants, over $2 billion in fraud claims, over $1 million per patient. Listen to what I'm saying. 11 defendants, over $2 billion. I just listened and watched as young guys literally just got sentenced. Literally got sentenced. Multiple life. They over there running up a check. By the time that law enforcement or FBI pull up and say, hey, man, listen, time to put these metal cuffs on you, they done already ran up a bag. They done already ran out the building with everything, all of the tax dollars. $11 people, $2 billion in fraud. $2 billion in fraud. These ain't rookie numbers. This is real life. They running up a check out there in them streets. And guess who the person? Let me rewind it for y'all, because I want y'all to understand who, what, when, where, why, and how this thing is playing out. Let me remind you for a second. You see this nice, frumpy Asian woman that don't even got strings in her shoes. She don't even got laces in her shoes. They walk around. They jump in the biggest cars. They got the biggest homes. They paid off. They done sent millions, if not billions of dollars back home. They eating in other countries and all of this stuff. This is the prototype of the person that is walking around while they saying wealth is silent. The reason that they don't want to talk to you is because you talk too much and you're going to get them jammed up and mess up their billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar operation that they're taking from taxpayers. Guess what you're not going to find? A Sean Garthright walking around doing this type. They ain't got billion-dollar. Listen, I'm not telling you that you need to commit fraud. I'm not telling you that you need to finesse. I would never tell you to do anything that will put yourself behind bars. What I am saying is that there's a difference between crimes. They're not doing the same crime you doing. They're not visible. You don't see her walking around with Gucci on and stuff like that. You know why? Because that will bring too much attention. They trying to figure out, all right, what happened? What's going on? The minute that I started to see what was happening in Minneapolis, if I was them, I would have started to pull up shop. All right, listen, y'all, listen. We had a nice run. It's time to go back to our home country. Time to self-deport. Hey, you see what's happening to the Somalis over there? Once you see one group start to get heat, then that's when you start to make some adjustments. All right, listen. Got to cut this off. Man, they doing hospice fraud and billing fraud like the mafia. Like the mafia, they doing hospice fraud like the mafia out there. Hey, you see what's happening to the Somalians over there? Dumb mother effers, they up there with the Leering Center. How did they not know something was going to come in the social media era? And you got Leering Center up there. Hey, all right, y'all, time to shut down operations. I've already booked my flight. I'm going. You make sure you close out this. We don't need, man, forget this house. We already got $2 billion. So what? Leave this little house out here. We ain't tripping about that. We still owe a little bit of money on it anyway, because we ain't want to bring too much alert to ourselves. Let's go ahead and get up out of here, bro. We out. Bees on the table. Bees on the table. This is the real bees on the table. We be going back talking about diamond grills and all that stuff. Man, they got bees on the table. Bees on the table. They not messing around. They come in here. Let me tell you what they do. They come over here and they come for everything. They come to get all the dollars, all the deals, all the money, all of everything. They send most of it back home. If one person got to take a charge for it, cool. You know what? But we got bees on the table. Bees on the table. Hey, man, listen. It got hot out there. One person take the fall. Everybody else can get away. We good. Bees on the table. Bees on the table.
The taxpayer money to bankroll multi-million-dollar homes, luxury vehicles like a $135,000 Maserati, jewelry like an $865,000 Bulgari necklace, and
did he say $865,000 Bulgari necklace?
Jewelry like an $865,000 Bulgari necklace, and to top it all off, to fund the construction of a $4.6 million hotel at a beach resort in the Philippines.
They sending the money home, dog. They building up luxury accommodations, beach hotels. Hey, man, we going to come and get this hospice fraud money from the U.S., from the taxpayers, and we going to build a $4 million beachfront hotel back in the Philippines. I'm not capping. I'm not making it up. I'm telling you what they doing. They come over here. They wear the Walmart specials as to not create any visibility, too much visibility as they walk in, because they don't want you to say, hey, man, who was that? Because you got to be legal if you saying who was that. And they sending the money back home, and that's how they building up the infrastructure in their own companies, in their own countries. Listen, this is why we have to be more vigilant on who getting wealth in this country and who has opportunity. Because what we're doing when y'all stupid liberal apologists are running around apologizing and trying to make them comfortable, don't you realize that your po behind, your poor ass, is sitting there fighting on the behalf of people that have built up multi-million-dollar businesses so that they can build up not only their own country, but be able to put their own people and sustain their own lives back in their own spaces. You over here fighting for people that is running up a check on taxpayer dime. They building their whole family structure up on this money. That's our money. Building up whole luxury hotel. You know how much money you got to get? Because you can't get no financing over there. You building that up on scratch, on GP. They over here taking everything, and they not doing it legally. They not doing it. For all of you people that are against Trump, oh, no, man, I don't like Trump. He deporting illegals. Shoot.
We're taking back the money, the luxury cars, the jewelry, and these alleged fraudsters will face justice.
You can't get back $2 billion.
The coordinated actions of the past 2 weeks have resulted in over $182 million in cash and other assets seized, making clear our healthcare fraud enforcement efforts generate a significant return on investment for our taxpayers.
If you got back $182 million, but they was able to get over $2 billion from you, that's more than a $1.8 billion gap. You got back 182 M's in cash. You know how if you was able to get back 182 in cash, you know how much they got away with? Bruh. Y'all out here taking penitentiary chances over rap beefs. They'll sit here and count my money and say, oh man, you ain't rich. Meanwhile, the person right up the street is stealing you blind, taking every dime and every dollar from you in your taxpayer money, and you ain't even tripping about it. You supporting them. No, I don't like Trump administration. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Say, AD, what are you drinking, man? Aquapana, man. I shouldn't be saying this. No free ads. Matter of fact, I'm about to start putting tape and stuff over the stuff that I do. No more freebies ever for nobody. No more freebies. No more freebies. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Let me say this. I said it. I said the one thing that's so interesting to me, is that we will sit here and fight each other while everybody come over here and get everything from us. And when I say fight each other, I'm not talking about black on black. I'm talking about people using racism to pit you against another person that has never experienced or had a slave in their life. And so white people and black people that literally is supposed to be the salt of this country. We're supposed to be the ones that benefit the most from what's happening this side of the country. And you know what we doing? We fighting each other. White people is poor. Black people is poor compared to the rest of the demographic that's generating revenue. And we sitting here going, they taking your money, building it up in other countries, and we got other people that's sitting here and saying, oh man, I want to be against America. Oh man, I don't like Trump. What the fuck do you mean? How are you fighting somebody else based off of something that they can't control? Meanwhile, somebody that ain't from here is the ones that's coming over here taking every single thing out of this country. How? We supposed to be getting money together. White people and black people are supposed to be getting money together. The only enemy that we supposed to have is any enemy that's preventing us from getting money together. Anybody that come into this country illegally and trying to get money without first coming through us is supposed to be the ones that's getting taxed. We supposed to be a country. Hey, man, how your city go is how my city go. How y'all do it over there? All right, listen, let's implement this over here. And they supposed to be saying, all right, wait a minute. How is y'all getting that popping over there? It's supposed to be an exchange of strengths so that we can be strength to strength and benefit. And it's supposed to be straight up beneficial 100% of the time. Everybody's supposed to be working in unison because now it's so much parity. It's real parity because you can't escape us. We can't escape them. Believe it or not, unfortunately for you that is racist, we are interconnected more than ever before because you not leaving, we not leaving, they not leaving. And so the question that you need to ask yourself is, all right, we stuck here. We in the same boat. We got to go to the same schools. We got to deal with the same politicians. We got to be dealing with the same issues. We got our same cultural norms. I don't have to be like you, right? We like dancing and partying and twerking. You like whatever it is that you like. You like putting on cowboy boots, getting drunk, going to the bar, and go and get, monster mashed by the whole college football team. Cool. We both got sluts. We both got them. Two sides of the same coin, and we sitting here having conversations in competition. You poor, they poor. And everybody is like this. Fighting the same fights and then fighting each other in the meantime. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? They're not going anywhere. White people ain't going nowhere. Black people not going nowhere. As much as y'all act like y'all want to go back to Africa, you not going back. You not going to Africa. Africans don't want to be in Africa. They don't want to be there. So instead of us saying, all right, listen, we different, but we got to deal with the same thing because one tide lifts all boats. We over here fighting. Two biggest gangs inside of the prison system, whites and blacks. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't like you. You don't like me. So dumb. Such a dumb situation. Let me read some of these super chats. Shout out to us. Steel City Muscle says he has that 4 top ramen commissary temp fade. The dudes is going to jail for the rest of their life. Orlando Williams says, amen, Reverend Fields. Moses Prophet says, bro could have been a good deacon. Godson says, this could be an old bag chasers to new bag chasers mentoring monthly show. This is sad to see this much intelligence going to prison. San Juan in the building says, I hate when ninjas play gangster and killer, then run to church when they get caught up. In my opinion, you should have been seeking the Lord, or am I wrong for not having pity? You're not wrong. They killed somebody. They took somebody else's life. Manny Plays PC says, Mayor Mohawk says Trump has done nothing to keep the community safe inside of the U.S. I seen that. We're going to talk about it. It's Trump's fault the gun violence is so prevalent in Chicago for not investing in it. Yeah, I seen Brandon Johnson say that. We're going to talk about that. Dark Skin Ken says ChatGPT wrote that the difference in writing styles between paragraphs and stanzas, bro thought he was at poetry night. How did they get access to ChatGPT then? Anthony Boyd says, Anton, if you had a wife with no rent or utilities and lived with her making $40 an hour, what do? How would you capitalize? Let me reread that again. Anton, if you had a wife with no rent or utilities and lived with her while making 40. I'm gonna break this down because I know you typed this wrong and it could be communicated wrong. So I'm gonna have a conversation. Anton, comma, if you had a wife, no rent or utilities, and y'all live together, and you make $40 an hour in what you do, how would you capitalize? I would say that you don't make enough money and that you need to make more money because it's not just about the rent or utilities. It's about the investments and it's about investing in yourself. The first thing that you want to do is get to the point to where you're making more than $40 an hour. That's okay, but that's not going to get no motion. I got a new series inside of the Patreon that I'm working on. And let me read exactly what it's called. Money at Every Level. That's what it's called. It's called Money at Every Level. Y'all not having a mortgage and utilities, which I'm assuming that y'all living with y'all peoples and y'all practicing group economics, gives y'all an opportunity to stack, to save, to invest, and at the same time invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself. Gotta invest in yourself, bro. Gotta invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself because you are the one that's going to generate more revenue. And then you need to be making your investments inside of whatever it is that you're doing from an investment perspective, like assets. Forget the trips, forget all of the balling, forget all of that type of stuff. Go and invest in yourself, bro. Stack up and buy assets. Jakeem says, I can't wait to see you debate on Stephen A. Smith's show, Must See TV. Let me go over there really quickly. Let me see something. Love and love. I give it my all. I'm going to text him and find out, or I'm going to call him and text him and find out when this is, when it's going to actually come out. He said it's supposed to come out this week. Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Shout out to Jakeem. I'll let y'all know inside of the Patreon and stuff when it comes through. Seeker of Truth says those guys have a term that is, you ain't built for this life. Ain't none of us supposed to be built for it. Raphael, shout out to Raphael. I appreciate you. Casual Germ says they went from chitty chitty bang bang to Harvard scholars real quick. Roy Whitfield says, you see two pastors get arrested in Philly? I didn't. Send me the story. This reminds me of To Pimp a Butterfly. I remembered you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Shout out to Mr. Lott. Eric TV says, was Trap Queen the Rat Queen? Real quick. Keeping it up, 8150 says, instead of waiting for GT6, they played it in real life. Chris Cunningham says, he thought they was Queen and Slim, and the whole time she flipped on him. Facts. They already brewing the hooch for these guys. San Quan says, something tells me Sean is going to be a wife. I give you my all. Global Jamie says, stop. LOL, life in prison is wild. Life, just watching this make my stomach hurt. Chris Cunningham says, why black community in an uproar about this? They're not in an uproar about the killing. Vinyl Revival says they got the book. That means everything. 392Q says she giving football numbers like candy. 392Q says firing squad me, because I can't go. Yeah, I'm straight. I can't do life. Carrington Love Jr. says, you're not understanding, Anton. A judge letting them boys out in 20 to 30. No. She said life without the possibility of parole. Listen, I don't even want to know what the definitions are. I just don't want to be in that situation. It's the Shy Guy says they can't play GTA 6. Tony Esquire says life in prison over a rap battle. Instead of murder, this beef could have been settled on a Nick Cannon episode of Wild 'N Out, Brutal Joke, but true. That's why I don't even care about beef. I think beef is stupid. Purple Haze says, AD, remember that they need that sweat equity. They'll get some prison box cellulitis. Laymar on there says, this has made me appreciate being a working man. Facts. Ain't nothing wrong with being a working man. ABJ's Wise and Strong says, crime does not pay. Colo Canelo says, Tennessee 12-year-old killed jumping grown man with his 5 friends. Tony Esquire says, off topic, but I agree with your opinion of a possible Honda merger. I just test drove the Kia K4 hatchback GT and Sportage X-Line. Both offer more features than either the CR-V Civic or Accord. Chris Cunningham says, meanwhile, Sean and the crew shooting rappers. Johnny is out here in the street saying, Trump's trying to use our tax money to fund his ballroom. Trump spent $14 million of our tax money on fixing a reflecting pool. Where's the outrage? On fixing the things that should have been fixed in Washington? Let me pull up Brandon Johnson really quickly.
If you've been thinking about getting Pocket, this
Brandon Johnson. I was gonna go to something else. I'm gonna go to layoffs in a second, but first we need to because I heard that Brandon Johnson had a press conference over the killings in Chicago, and so I don't want to forget him. I want to make sure that we get everything that we need as far as what's going on in Chicago and Seattle, and so I definitely want to address that. So we're gonna go over to Lucid and maybe even General Motors in a second. But first, we have to make sure that we get over to Chi-Town. First of all, also, I want to just say that I appreciate y'all for tuning in for this 4-hour, we do 4-hour live streams every day. Every day, Monday through Friday, we make sure that we tuning in, we tapping in, and we doing 4-hour live streams to give y'all the news, give y'all insight, and to make sure that y'all understand what's going on out in these streets, man. All right. All right, hold on. Let me see something. Let me tune that up a little bit. I don't know what be wrong with the audio. Oh, let me see something.
I believe that she still has 6 abandoned schools, right? And then the report they...
All right. Brandon Johnson. Yeah, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tej Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Thank you, Tej Henley, for continuing to sponsor what we got going on over here on the Millionaire Morning Show and for continuing to support us on After Hours Room 9 as well as the Anton Daniels channel. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to everybody that continue to hold us down. I am expecting for those of you that are not Dusty and that is in the Patreon, go over to the Patreon and let me know if you plan on coming and if you plan on bringing somebody with you. That is important. I want to know if y'all plan on bringing somebody with you. Ladies is usually bringing their homegirl with them. You know, if the guys is bringing a +1, if the ladies is bringing a +1, no children. All right? No kids, no YNs, no none of that nonsense. If you've ever been to a meetup, you know how we get down. No kids, no nothing, no none of that. All right? Leave the babies at home and tell them mommy is going out, daddy is going out there. See y'all Monday. It's the summertime. Chill out. Get some ramen noodles, get some hot cereal, chill out, relax, have a good time, and we gonna get there. No children. All right? Not that I expected anybody to bring children, but no kids. We're going to have a good time. We're going to party. And it's going to be a fun outing. So I'm looking forward to be able to kick it with y'all. All right? We're going to go over to Brandon Johnson first. What up, Shell Shock? And hopefully I'm getting y'all through y'all day. Hopefully everything is going well on that front. It's saying I got 1 minute and 20 seconds before I can actually play the video. I be trying to adjust the volume to be a little bit more commensurate with how it is that I talk. Because a lot of times in the previous shows, the volume has been up. But we have to pivot whenever y'all introduce to me new subjects and new content. What plans do y'all have for the weekend? Who got plans for the weekend and what y'all getting yourselves into? I'm going to pick up my lamb on Friday, so I might be in a little bit of a kerfuffle this weekend. So, and I also need to check the weather. But for the most part, for me personally, I'm going to just be locked in. I'm really, really about to focus on my work. And I think that the first half of the year I did okay, but I think I could do much better going into the second half of the year. So now that we got the full rebrand almost complete over here on the Millionaire Morning Show, we can start focusing on other things that I think will be dope and upgrading in other ways. And a lot of times you use this as a test run so that you can break out other things that's going on. All right? Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
My administration continues to strengthen investments in violence reduction, youth opportunities, and community-based interventions that ultimately make neighborhoods safer. Part of our efforts also include supporting the call for a permanent department dedicated to gun violence reduction, ensuring these efforts remain coordinated, accountable, and sustained for the long term. Because building safer communities requires the full force of government and a commitment to addressing the root causes of violence. And one of the most important investments that we can make is in our young people. Right now, more than 25,000 young people have started summer jobs through the Chicago Youth Works program. When we invest in our youth, we invest in safer communities, stronger neighborhoods, and a brighter future for Chicago. And that is why I also want to recognize that this week, Chicago
What's up, Justin Brown girl?
Rights Week, we're celebrating it.
What up, Kate?
We're celebrating the hard working
Appreciate you for the super chat. I'm going to read that
who
shortly.
keep our city moving forward, and they do it every single day. Whether you're working an overnight shift, serving customers, preparing meals, stocking shelves, or delivering goods across our city, your work matters. Every day, Chicagoans show up for one another. And through our work, and through your work, you help feed families, support neighbors, and you keep our communities running.
Happy birthday, Gerald.
Create opportunities for future generations. And that is the power of working people, and that is why we are proud to celebrate Chicago Workers' Rights Week. But as we all know, Chicago, like communities across the country, continues to face an affordability crisis. Too many working families are spending too much of their time and energy simply trying to make the ends meet.
Thank you, Leo girl. I'm going to read
The
that
rising
shortly.
cost of housing, groceries, child care, and other everyday necessities has made it harder for many of our residents to get ahead, and even when they are working every single day, and in some cases, multiple jobs. Supporting working people is not just something we talk about during Workers' Rights Week. It is a commitment that guides our work every day throughout the year. 2 years ago, my administration established Chicago Workers' Rights Week to recognize the contributions of working people across the city and reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that every single Chicagoan has the opportunity to thrive. We also committed to raising standards for workers and making sure that our economy works for the people whose labor makes this city run. And since taking office, our administration has increased Chicago's minimum wage each year, helping workers keep pace with rising costs and ensuring that more families can share in the city's prosperity. On July 1st, Chicago's minimum wage will increase to $17.05 per hour. That means more money in the pockets of working people and more.
I want y'all to know that he's supposed to be addressing the crime issue in Chicago. Okay? He's supposed to be addressing the crime issue in Chicago. What he's doing is trying to divert your attention from the fact, I'm going to be very, very direct. He's diverting your attention from the fact that the Trump administration said, hey, man, we could help you. Do you want us to prevent crime over there the same way that we stopped crime over in Memphis and D.C. that was willing to take our help? You know you still got the highest numbers of any major city. Of any major city, you got the highest numbers. Would you like help and assistance and to fix that problem? And instead of him taking responsibility for all of the violence and the things that he could have prevented from happening, he's trying to highlight what he's doing to stop violence inside of Chicago. All right?
Support for families working hard to keep up with the rising costs. And it's also why we fought to give Chicago workers access to up to 5 days of paid leave and 5 days of paid sick leave. No one should have to choose between earning a paycheck and caring for themselves or their loved ones. And no one should have to worry about losing income when they're struggling with their health. We know there is still more work to do. Working families are the foundation of our city, and they deserve fair pay, meaningful protections, and the opportunity to build a stable future for themselves and their loved ones. I am, but
he's opening it up for questions.
Deepening our dedicated.
I want to get to the question and answer portion.
How you doing, Mayor Johnson?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Talk a little bit more about what I think I just heard you say, which was your endorsement of a Department of Gun Violence Protection. How would that work? Who would be running that department? Would it be your deputy mayor for community safety? Talk more about that.
Well, first of all, again, I want to acknowledge, again, the incredible harm and trauma that gun violence has promulgated, not just throughout the city of Chicago, but throughout our country. It is incredibly disappointing and disheartening that the President of the United States of America has worked overtime to defund the very institutions that can keep people safe. From
What?
$800 million that he has taken away from violence prevention, $800 million that he placed in the pockets of big corporations and the ultra-rich at the expense of our overall safety.
Listen, y'all. We not going for the okie doke no more. First of all, you spent billions on illegal migrants. You removed ShotSpotter, and it is not the federal government's job to subsidize you using fraud to justify enriching your friends and continuing to finesse Chicagoans. How? Nobody even, you know what's so funny? Nobody even brought up Trump. Nobody brought up Trump at all. Nobody brought up Trump. It was the first thing that he said when they questioned him on this new Department of Government Safety or whatever it is that they're trying to create that they're going to use taxpayer dollars to finesse. How did Trump become responsible for you being able to mismanage your city and for multiple people dying on Juneteenth in the culture? I'm telling you, Trump deranged syndrome is a real thing, big dog.
Again, reducing the ATF budget by 30%, the entity of government that we work with at the federal level to remove illegal weapons off the streets of Chicago. And we know that there are at least 13 states across the country that has an office that is dedicated to reducing gun violence. The Biden administration established the first of its kind at the federal level. What I have said and what I will continue to say is that I think it's incumbent upon all of us to find ways in which we can work together to reduce violence as a whole, but gun violence particularly. I'm prepared to talk more about this particular call to action later.
The original question was, who's going to be running this new department? What is it, and what is it going to take to stand it up? Somehow, some way, this became about Trump
This week, but as you know, this particular advocacy group has been calling for such an office to exist through multiple administrations, and we're going to continue to hear how the work that we're doing to drive violence down can work in coordination with the vision that this organization and organizing apparatus has.
So
Bunch
just
of
to
words
be clear,
salad.
you're not against their suggestion.
I'm saying that this has been an ongoing fight for this group for some time through multiple administrations. And there is a precedent that's been established at the federal level, particularly, again, what the Biden-Harris administration did. So I'm going to continue to explore pathways in which the office that I created of community safety can work in conjunction with what this organizing apparatus is calling for.
Great. Your deputy mayor for community safety, Emmanuel Andre, now on the job. How would you say in the few weeks that he's been in that position, how would you say the city's response to violence has improved with him leading that office over his predecessor?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm leading the efforts to build the safest, most affordable big city in America. Much like all of my deputy mayors, I'm always in constant communication
Safest
with them.
city in America.
Their job ultimately is to carry out my vision. And what I am grateful for is that we have strong public servants that recognize their role in building the safest, most affordable big city in America.
Mayor Johnson, last week I sat in this very seat and I warned you that Juneteenth is historically one of the most violent days for whatever reason in the city of Chicago. You dismissed that. I asked you if Donald Trump, the President of the United States, if you would reach out to him for some kind of help or assistance. Again, you dismissed that.
On
You
his
said that
head,
you're the
Tom.
mayor, right? You said that Donald Trump was a massive failure or something to that effect.
On his
And
head,
now, we have seen the results. 40 plus people shot, a dozen plus people murdered in the city of Chicago on Juneteenth, the weekend with the Obama Library and all the other wonderful things happening. And the people of Chicago, the real people, are asking me if you are aware, if you're even paying attention, if you're the massive failure, perhaps you're the massive failure in this equation, and not the president, who, by the way,
William, is that
has
the
reached
question?
out.
Thank you for your
The President
question.
of the United States has reached out again.
Well, thank you for your question.
Donald Trump has said
So,
he's willing to
essentially
help.
what
Will
you're
you
asking-
at
William, are you
long
gonna let the
last
mayor
accept
respond,
his
please?
support?
I appreciate you
Well, if you
taking
could
some
let me
time.
ask the question, I'd be
You
more-
have. You said
Okay.
that real
Will
people
you
of
accept his
Chicago.
help now?
Well, you asked two questions. Then.
No.
Your first question was, just want to make sure that I'm repeating what you said.
Okay.
Your
My
first
guess.
question was centered around, and it's a very lousy attempt of what you're trying to conflate, but your first question was essentially around who takes responsibility, right? And then your
Right.
second question is the help that's needed from the federal government. So I'll answer both of them. And so, look, it's very clear that as it relates to community safety, that the President of the United States of America has done nothing to help secure safe communities across this country. He's done nothing to do that. In fact, if you look specifically at his so-called black agenda, he has not delivered on one promise. You can't say that you believe in creating safe communities and then literally undermine all of the efforts that create safer communities. That's why he's a failure. It's not just he's just a failure. He's a doty individual.
Jesus, Lord, have mercy. What are we doing? What are we doing? He said the president is a failure. Your city is under siege by people that look like you. The worst of which happened on Juneteenth. You were warned that this was going to happen in your city. You could have sought help directly from the federal government. You say Trump is a failure because y'all killing each other. And now you're saying that Trump is a very doty individual. I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime. I've observed a lot of word salad, of which somebody just sent me an email of Kamala Harris and Don Lemon and saying that she was doing word salad. We gonna probably go to her next. The level of deflection and lack of accountability and responsibility of us is astounding. It's astounding. It's amazing. It's impressive almost. I can't believe I'm listening, observing, and watching a mayor of the largest city in the Midwest blame the president for the violence that is happening in his city, and then he's calling him a doty individual. Guess what's going to happen? Either they'll reelect him like they're doing Karen Bass, or they'll replace him with somebody that's even worse than he is. Even worse than he is, bro.
Right. And so because of that,
crazy.
To answer your first question, the responsibility, of course, is on all of us. Here's a responsibility that I continue to take. Driving a community safety plan that removes guns from the streets of Chicago. Driving a community safety plan that actually invests in the communities that this president refuses to invest in. Driving a community safety plan that ensures that our local police department has the tools that they need to ultimately hold people accountable is why we have seen positive trends. Now, of course, there's more work to be done. That work is not going to be accomplished through social media. The failure of this administration is that he is more interested in tweeting or posting evil and inhumane projections of people and our humanity than he is actually willing to put money into the very communities that he ostensibly offers some degree of care for. But
what's up with the words, man? Is it impossible for this guy to talk like a normal human being?
The fact of the matter is this. There's no administration in this city that has contributed more to keeping people safe. Is there more work to be done? Absolutely. Has this president undermined our work? He most certainly has. Again, this is an individual that is more interested in removing voting rights protections. He's more interested in calling for investigations or reducing the ability to investigate civil rights violations, right? It's not just simply about his abject failure. It's about his overwhelming
I said the same thing, bro.
In coordinating the upward transfer of wealth into the hands of the ultra rich at the expense of everyday people. That's what he has failed to do. Because, well, that's what he has done. His failure, of course, is in defunding the very efforts that ultimately can keep people safe.
Thank you, William.
Question.
Thank you.
Second question is simply this.
You've already asked
You
two
campaigned
questions.
on defunding.
You've asked
My
two
second
questions.
question is,
Nope.
You campaigned on defunding the police. You've called the police a sickness. You say that incarcerating violent repeat offenders is some kind of
You can talk as long as you want. You've asked your two questions already, and I've answered both of them.
You interrupted.
No, you've asked two questions.
I also have civil rights. I have freedom of speech. I have freedom
Well,
of
you can
press.
just free yourself on out of here because I'm not answering anything else from you. You've already asked two questions and your time is done. So go ahead. Finish.
The
Finish.
United States has
He's so sassy. He's such a sassy black man.
The city of Chicago is down 2,000 police officers under your administration, and yet you have 150 some police officers on your security detail. If Chicago is so safe, why not release some of those police officers back onto the streets where they can help real Chicagoans?
You're done. Thank you. Jake.
On the new department, why do you think this is needed? Is there a capacity issue now in the Office of Community Safety, or is this an effort to lock in anti-violence efforts that might not stick if you don't win this office again?
Well, if you're asking me if my decisions are politically motivated, they're not. They're not. And look, I understand why people would believe that a politician would speak of their own interests. My interest is building the safest, most affordable big city in America. in terms of our evolution of government, I think that is the nature of public service. The answers that I have can only be strengthened when other people are invited into the process to actually come up with solutions from a more collective response. Look, do I believe that we have done some incredible work through our collaborative efforts? Absolutely. Is that work complete? It's not.
And your office has made several efforts, or in the city council recently, on VGTs. I'm curious why you have been generally supportive of sweepstakes gambling machines. Those are already existent. They don't have much oversight. They're especially in Black and Latino neighborhoods and pulling money out of them. Why not oppose those?
Well, look, the concerns that we have raised around VGTs are legitimate, right? In having a hearing, which I believe is going to take place tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, that's necessary. I mean, look, there is certain activity that I don't necessarily engage in. I don't drink, right? And I do know that through liquor tax, we actually generate revenue. This idea that certain activity requires special judgment because of what it does, I try not to walk in any level of condemnation. So just because there's something that I may not particularly engage in doesn't mean that that my particular standard should be the utilizing force to determine whether or not a particular form of gambling or anything else should be permitted.
Yeah, but you all have opposed VGTs and not opposed sweepstakes gambling.
Well, because what I've said was there's some legitimate concerns there, right?
Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Of course, this is one of the, if not the worst mayor inside of America. Let me read some of y'all super chats, and I want to get over to Kamala real quick. We're going to pivot. Key Link says, thank you for the live stream. Y'all are my company at work. Yeah, I got you, Key Links. We got you, baby. Leo Girl says, this show definitely gets me through my day. What up, Leo? Shell Shock in the building says, this guy lies way too much for my liking. Once I hear affordability, I stop listening. And I bet there's still no outrage about that mass shooting. He didn't even really address that shooting at all. 1A Freedom from Fear says, AD, what up? Salute you in the Millionaire Morning Show, Room 9 After Hours, and what y'all did last night with the voices first, then revealing after. That was dope, long overdue, but the way my bank account is set up, we doing the gas tonight. Pause. We're going to flip it and have it the guys judging the guys instead of the ladies tonight, all right? High Tolerance says 1,540 homicides and counting since Brandon Johnson took office on the 15th of June 23rd of 2023. I know I'm going to hear about that inside of the chat. Here we go. Sanquan says, I wish I could throw a real tomato. Shell Shock says, Brandon Johnson is Jamal Bryant, zesty and wrong. Listen, fellas, I know y'all saying, ayo, time, pause, all of that type of stuff. We grown. We don't do pause no more. We don't do pause no more. We grown. We can't be doing pause for the rest of our life. Flip it to the men is crazy and I ain't thinking about y'all. This is my formal request for leave this evening. No. Denied. It's going to be fun. I'm telling you, it's going to be really, really fun. It's going to be fun, Q Diddy. It's going to be hilarious. We not pausing no more. That's the last time that I'm ever going to say pause. Cam. Y'all know that's my nickname for her. Cam and Lemon Drop. Cam and Lemon Drop. How many subscribers do Don Lemon have? Oh, he got 1.3. see something. Got to keep an eye on these people. Why he ain't coming up? Let me see something real quick. Trying to pour something up. Oh, I see why. Don Lemon is doing some decent views. He's doing a daily average of 740,000 views a day. Not as much as the Anton Daniels channel, but definitely doing 734,000 views a day. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, let's get into it though. But we gotta bring this in. Somebody said that she has some word salad going on in this interview. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Are being dismantled, voting rights are being challenged.
That we are up with today and tomorrow. That vision has to be about what are we going to do and how are we going to implement a strategy that is about delivering for the people.
Hold on, is this the word salad part that they was talking
Beat Hillary Clinton behind the scenes. They're like, I say, well, where was that Hillary Clinton? Like, oh, she's so warm, and you're so warm right now. But that warmth that you exude behind the scenes, I now see that when you're on camera doing an interview. And so that's why I think, hey, go ahead and answer these questions for as long as you want, because I think that what you're saying now, you're speaking important truth. So what would you tell the Democratic Party to stop doing? Do they talk too much about Donald Trump? What?
I'm not going to scold or anything like that. Listen, I think that what the American people want from their leaders, and I'll speak as a Democrat about Democrats, is that we have an ability to have a vision in which everyone can see themselves. And that vision has to start with today and tomorrow. That vision has to be about what are we going to do and how are we going to implement a strategy that is about delivering for the people and not just about process all the time. I think part of the problem is, and I say this as a lifelong public servant, I think part of the issue that we need to deal with is that we have gotten so caught up in process that we are not focused on progress. And that we need to admit that there are certain systems that have been failing for a long time, whether under Democratic or Republican leadership. And let's just be honest with folks, because it's not like we're covering it up. People can see it. And so, let's be honest and then start, really thinking about how are we going to require ourselves to focus on getting stuff done, but with a certain level of speed.
Honestly, I don't miss, it's some people that I miss reviewing because it'd be like, yo, they were so crazy that they always gave me a soundbite. When I listen to Kamala Harris, dog, when I listen to Kamala Harris, every time she gets done answering a question, she takes the long way to nowhere. She takes the long way to nowhere. It's like going down the yellow brick road, bro. And both Democrats and Republicans with a certain amount of speed, and the progress shouldn't trump the process. What? Dog, sometimes when she talks, I have to keep in mind, okay, this was the question, this was the question, this was the question, this was the question, because I don't even know where she's going. And usually where she lands, it has nothing to do with the question whatsoever.
Dare I say. And, you know, and it has to be about also recognizing and all of us agreeing that we aren't going to be able to solve all of the challenges that we have immediately. And we're going to have to be, however, bold about being willing to maybe not be safe around what we need to do to change an aspect of the structure.
What?
And that
What
includes,
do
for
you mean?
example, conversation. Well,
Even Don Lemon said, listen, even the Don says, wait, what? What do you mean by that? Listen to what she just said. Listen to what she just said, bro.
conversation. And that includes,
What do you
for
mean?
example, conversation. And, you know, and it has to be about also recognizing and all of us agreeing that we aren't going to be able to solve all of the challenges that we have immediately. And we're going to have to be, however, bold about being willing to maybe not be safe around what we need to do to change an aspect of the structure.
What? Bro, listen, I can't be the only one. And this can't be a Democrat, Republican, because lately y'all been getting mad at me for even not saying Obama was as bad as y'all think that he is. Come on, bro. Democrat, Republican, you gotta give me this one. What are we talking about? I said, what? Don Lemon. Look, watch Don. Listen to Don. I don't even like Don. Listen to what he about to say.
And that includes,
do
for
you mean?
example, conversation. Well, the conversation that we just had about the Supreme Court, the conversation that we just had about the Electoral College, about saying how do we have a plan that's about pushing for statehood, if for the people of Puerto Rico if they want it, for the people of D.C. It means understanding that, you know, you got to be sometimes willing to fight fire with fire. And that, you know, just might be something that makes you uncomfortable. And if you're not comfortable with that, maybe you should look for another job for right now. Because this is the moment that is, you know, it's some bare knuckle stuff happening right now.
As I listen to you, I wonder, what did losing the presidential election teach you about that winning could not have?
Oh, I mean, there's so many lessons to be had. There's so many lessons to be had. And it includes, you know, I mean, there was so much about that election, and I wrote a book about it. So, you know, we could spend some time on looking backward, but we've got to be able to communicate with people where they are.
What?
And hopefully be able to do it in as direct a way as possible without the filters, without the gatekeepers. And that is a challenge, but we got to fight through that, because when it all comes down to it, I think people want to hear directly from their leaders. And again, most importantly, they want to be heard.
You mean how Trump does it? You know how Trump do it? He just say whatever it is that's on his mind directly to the reporters and talks to them and doesn't hide. Let's remember, until it was election season, Kamala Harris was out of Dodge. She was hiding in the White House. She wasn't trying to have those type of conversations. She was staying out of the way. All right? It wasn't about no messaging. It wasn't about none of that. We heard what you said. We seen that you didn't want to go on Joe Rogan. You didn't want to answer real questions. All of these are softball questions.
Settled, I feel. Maybe you disagree with that. Gavin Newsom is moving. AOC is building something. Is there a lane that belongs uniquely to Kamala Harris?
Oh, I don't exclude myself from any lane.
Look, I don't want to, continue digging on this, but you told Reverend Sharpton that you might in 2028. You told me that you have thought about it, but you haven't made a decision. But what is that? What is the deciding factor? Like, is there a point where you go, okay, yes, or okay, no? Do you know where that point is?
I've run for president before, obviously, so I have a pretty good sense of what it requires, and it requires a lot. And not only of the principal, but of their family, their team, their supporters, and
Now remember, I'm gonna remind y'all on Kamala Harris segments, if I ever do them, of what the original question is. The original question is basically, are you gonna run for president in 2028? This is the question. Ain't got nothing to do with teams. Don't have nothing to do with family. Don't have nothing to do with none of that. The question is, are you running for president in 2028? That's the question.
Ultimately, I think when I make a decision, that is going to weigh heavily for me on the decision. So I'll keep you posted.
Thank you for answering that. You've talked a lot lately about joy. You showed up at the Abbey, which is in Los Angeles, which is a bar, LGBTQ bar, during Pride Month. Why does joy matter so much to you right now? And what that support that you have for members of the LGBTQ plus community, where does that come from?
Well, it's long-standing. I was very proud on that Valentine's weekend in 2004 to perform some of the first same-sex marriages in the country. And that was at a time when Democrats really didn't want to be associated with the issue. It's an and so that's why I went by there, and I will always be a defender and a fighter for the freedoms and for the rights and for the dignity and for the safety of all people, including members of our LGBTQ community.
Now back to where we started, because I want to make sure this is important. Juneteenth is important. And so I want to end where I began. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom doesn't protect itself, that every generation has to fight for it. And I wonder, are enough people fighting in this moment right now?
What kind of questions are these?
I don't know. If you're going to go on that Costco run and you've got a neighbor, right? And maybe they're a single father or mother and just saying, hey, I'm about to go to Costco. Can I pick anything up for you?
Right.
But, reminding ourselves about the power of community and civic participation. I think there's so much about this moment that has to be about what I've been calling for. I think we need a revival of the American dream, meaning we need to make real the promise of opportunity to folks, and in that way, encouraging that we are all engaged to make real that promise through a number of ways, including voting. I think people are doing what they can, though, to get by on a daily basis. So many people. So I'm not here to judge.
All right, listen. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. My goal at the end of this show was not to put y'all to sleep with the quite possibly most boring. I cannot think of a politician that's any more boring than Kamala Harris, bro. That is more boring than anything I've ever experienced in my entire life. Can drag a word out, don't have anything to say that is relevant whatsoever. Ugh. I'm at a loss for words. Anyways, let me read some of y'all super chats and see what's happening out in these streets. It was painful. I'm sorry for putting y'all through that. Greg AB says, came late to the show. What up to Algorithm Daniels? What up, Greg? I appreciate you. San Quan says, Kamala and Trigger are the same people. Manny Plays PC says, does she mean being an authoritarian? Like how they accuse Trump of being? Shout out to the people in the chat. Listen, tonight we gonna let the ladies judge the guys tonight. We let the ladies judge the guys tonight. She set me up to be able to take a nap. I'm not gonna take a nap. I'm trying to redo my internal system to not get sleepy after nap time so that I can actually do something more productive. All right. Listen, tonight after hours, we back at it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I am going to see y'all tonight. Peace.